let's
Excited.
start it up. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Brando's movie Hangout. This is our second time with an actual guest appearance on the show. So if you guys are new to the show, well, this is a place where we can chill, relax, and talk about movies. So if you guys have any questions, topics that you want to discuss today, leave them down in the chat, and me and my guest will discuss them with you. And the reason why I wanted to have this particular guest on was because the first time I ever live streamed was on his channel about a year ago when we watched Infinity War and Endgame for the anniversary of those of Avengers Endgame. So you guys know who this guy is. He reviews almost everything, every single movie, every single show, every single HBO special. You guys know him as Elliot from Movie Files. Let's bring him in here. How's it going, buddy?
What's going on, man? I appreciate the intro. It's so crazy to think that a year ago, where we were with, doing all the watch alongs and all that. No Disney Plus shows, and now we got 3 shows and movies coming out, and things seem to be coming back to normal. What a time, man! What a time.
Have you been to the theaters yet?
I have, man. I went. My first press screening was Quiet Place 2, and that was the perfect movie to kind of get me back into the swing of things. It was just like, oh man, I missed it. I missed it, man. I'm so glad that things are opening up again.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, the theaters here open up in a couple days,
Oh,
and
nice.
I'm seeing Those Who Wish Me Dead. I just needed to pick one,
Mm-hmm.
and I think there's that one. I still need to see Quiet Place 2, and then I think there's In the Heights is opening as well, so I'm
Mm.
excited to watch those. So I see
Yeah,
some
man.
people in the chat already. Let me just bring it up here. So we got Angela in here, Gavin's in here, and so before we get some questions in here, I know we were talking a little bit off stream about Loki because I
Mm-hmm.
consider you one of the MCU experts, at least the people that I follow. Um, and we were talking about the first episode, and
Yeah.
like we can talk about it a little bit. If you guys want to talk about anything else, then definitely let us know. But I was saying that the first episode of this show impressed me more than the first episodes of Falcon and Winter Soldier and WandaVision. WandaVision was so different. It was just like
Mm-hmm.
they're doing a 50s sitcom. There was no real uh, broader story yet
Yeah.
in that episode. And then Falcon and Winter Soldier felt like I said it was Captain America light at first, but you
Mm.
knew that where the story was going to go with the John Walker reveal at the end. But this one was
Right.
like, okay, now I can clearly see a path for the MCU moving forward. What did you think overall of the first episode of Loki?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we were talking a little bit off camera, man, and this definitely kind of blew the doors off the waters regarding like just okay, like you mentioned, WandaVision, kind of a self-contained, just taking over a community type of story, her
Mm-hmm.
dealing with her drama, her past trauma, and all that stuff, and still kind of speaking to the greater MCU, but not to the grander scale like we get with Loki. Same, like you said, with Falcon Winter Soldier, more of a grounded reality show. There's no bigger, world ending storylines going on with Falcon and Winter Soldier. Just more kind of that again, Sam coming to terms of who he is and kind of embracing this new shield, Bucky letting go of his PTSD, still more grounded in reality. But now episode 1 of Loki, I mean, we're talking Infinity Stones mean nothing. We're talking timekeepers, 3 lizard head men that can, or beings that have
Mm-hmm.
created this TVA that can control all of the essence of time, and they try to protect the sacred timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Loki's just like, where have I been? I've just been trying to be the king of the world of Earth, but
Mm-hmm.
now you're telling me there's something of this capacity. It's insane, man. So yeah, this episode was really intriguing. I love the aesthetic. I love the score. I love the performances of Tom Hiddleston, who's playing Loki for the 6th time, and of course we have Owen Wilson coming in and just another home run casting from Marvel, and Wumi Mushaku and Gugu Mbatha. I mean, the cast is great. I'm loving it, man, and I'm really excited to see how this really opens the door for Phase 4.
Yeah, like and I was saying off camera that like I totally agree with you that it definitely shows us a new side um, of Marvel that we haven't seen before, and at least for me, that's what I'm looking for. I don't want to see more of the same. I want to see something new. If you have a series with 23, 24 films and all these different shows, you need to keep it fresh, and I think, you know, Kevin Feige definitely knows that. He definitely knows what he's doing, and, you know, and just to see Infinity Stones, just the biggest, like, that was the thing in Infinity War, and now they're just, they're just playthings, they're just child's toys. You know, it's definitely like, oh, what's going to happen next? But there's someone in the chat, I think it was Christian, that says, rate Loki episode out of 10.
So I personally don't rate TV shows or episodes just because it's just because, you know, one episode can be bad, the next one can be fantastic, and kind of look at it as a whole. But if I were to rate this episode, introduction wise, I'll give it a solid 8.5 out of 10. Based on just the previous, you know, Marvel content that we got so far, but 8.5 out of 10. And, yeah, I'll just leave it at that because I've seen episode 2, and I definitely prefer episode 2 more than episode 1. But I'll give the first one an 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there. And yeah, like I got to see the first couple episodes of WandaVision and Falcon Winter Soldier, but with Loki, I said, you know what? I'm just gonna watch it as a fan. I'm gonna take my YouTuber brain off and just kind of watch it as a fan. And
sometimes you gotta do that, man. Yeah.
And you know what? Like, I did the first time I ever did a TV show recap series was with the Mighty Ducks. And yeah, I found it so funny how people wanted to just rate it and, you know, basically say what the entire show is after one episode, where it's like, oh, this show's amazing, best show I've ever seen. Next episode, it sucks. I'm done.
The roller
coaster, you've lost me. And then the next episode, oh, I'm kind of intrigued now. And I said, well, let's just save our judgment until the end of the show. But you know, like you said, I was very impressed, and I'm very curious to see where it goes. But Christian also asked, how many Loki episodes will there be? Do you know this?
6. There will be 6 episodes, similar to Falcon and Winter Soldier, but they're going to be 45 to 50 plus minutes, as we've gotten in the first episode. And the second episode is even longer than the first, so 6 episodes in total.
Yeah. Okay. That's pretty good. So we only get 6 of them. So I'm excited about that. Some more MCU questions from Superhero Fan 198 asks, what is the most overrated MCU movie? Mine is easily Black Panther and both Spider-Man movies.
Ooh, wow, the hot takes there.
What about you? Most overrated?
Oh man, this is so funny, man. I've done a couple Ask Me Anything questions, and I don't know. My brain doesn't know how to like put overrated versus underrated, because to me it's just like, you know, it kind of is what it is. There's more, you know, there's certain films I appreciate more than others, but overrated, man. Let's see. MCU 23 plus films.
And you got to think too, it's like, well, overrated. So you got to think of a general consensus about the movie. Like, you know, my least favorite MCU movie is Captain Marvel, but is that an underrated one? Is that an overrated one? Like, I know that there's a very vocal group of people who don't like it. Yeah. And then there's some people who just like anything that Marvel does. So again, it's hard to say which one I would say is overrated versus underrated.
I'm really trying to think. I mean, I enjoy the aesthetics and the tone and the scope and scale and the ambitious nature of Doctor Strange, but I'm not the biggest Doctor Strange fan. From a story perspective, from a chemistry perspective between Stephen Strange and Rachel McAdams' character, and then the Ancient One, I don't know. I found out, and I know some people really love, and I love the character, but I just think I prefer Doctor Strange more so in the Avengers films. This might be a hot take. I prefer Tony Stark more in the Avengers films than I do his individual films. So Doctor Strange 1 wasn't my favorite. It's kind of in my 15, 16 range, but super excited for part 2. But I'll say Doctor Strange might be my most, I don't know, I hate to say overrated, but I guess, you know, that's the only thing that's coming to mind.
That's a good answer. I would agree with you there that I fall in the, like, it was just okay. And I don't hate any MCU movie.
Same.
I would say that my one movie I felt pretty disappointed with was Ant-Man and the Wasp. And maybe that was because it was right after Infinity War. And I'm like, I wanted to get the ending into that. And I'm like, oh, well, this lighthearted, like, Ant-Man thing.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids vibe going on.
Yeah. So again, but I haven't seen it since the theater. So again, I could change my mind on that. I haven't done like a giant MCU rewatch. That's gonna be, the longer I wait, the harder it's gonna be.
It'll be 20 films later. Yeah.
So I'll go with Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
Um, similar question. Tony says, "What is a comic book movie that you guys think is underrated? A comic book movie, just in general, that people think is underrated."
Man, there's so many. I mean, there's so many different movies too that are adapted. It's like, for example, 300. It's based on a graphic novel.
Mm.
Um, let's see. I don't know, man. I think Kick Ass. I think it gets the praise that it deserves, but I think Kick Ass is like a really underrated kind of superhero movie by Matthew Vaughn, and just the tone. And it was I can still remember seeing that for the first time. And this was one of those movies that just when superhero movies, it was like late 2000s or maybe 2010 or whatnot. Superhero movies weren't as popular as they are now.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember hearing a little bit of buzz about it, but nothing like we hear about these MCU films. So I remember watching it at home for the first time and not knowing how violent and how vulgar and how incredible that film is. And especially when we see Hit Girl take out those men for the first time, I'll never forget, like, well, what movie am I watching? I love this.
Yeah.
So I think Kick-Ass, man, I think we get so caught up in the DC, the MCU, but the Kick-Ass is like a really great way to maybe set the groundwork for like the Boys and the Invincibles of the world, like these more mature, dark, brutal, killing little kid like type of superhero movie. So I think Kick-Ass doesn't get as much credit it deserves to kind of create that more darker tone that we got in a lot of these Amazon shows and some of the other comic book properties out there.
Yeah, it kind of came and went. Like, I know it got a sequel, but at least for me, I saw those. Like, yeah. I saw those once in the theater. I enjoyed them, but I haven't gone back to revisit those. So,
yeah.
For me, I guess underrated. I'll stick in the MCU. I'll go Iron Man 2. It's not amazing, but
yeah.
I don't know. I have a soft spot for it.
Is it Justin Hammer for you? Does he do it for you?
Yeah, you know what I think it is? I think because I'm a big Disney theme park kind of guy, and the Stark Expo really kind of reminds me of like Tomorrowland and just being in that universe. And I thought that the threat wasn't too threatening. It was just a kind of a nice movie to kind of hang out in. And I know that's not the highest praise for it, and but it's underrated. That's my answer.
For sure.
But this is a good question. Angela says, "What is your favorite chase scene in a movie?"
Ooh, there's some good chases out there. The one that comes to mind immediately is I gotta go with one of the. I'll say Jason Bourne. I'll go with Identity. Jason Bourne, Bourne Identity, the first one in the streets of, I think they were in Italy or somewhere overseas, and I love all the Bourne films, but all the chase sequences are incredible. Mission Impossible comes to mind. More particularly, I think of Fallout had a pretty good chase, as well as Ghost Protocol. So, but I'll go with Bourne. Bourne Identity has an incredible chase sequence.
Yeah, the Bourne franchise. Like when those first movies got popular, then you kind of got the newer Daniel Craig, James Bond, taking it back. James Bond turned into Austin Powers in the early 2000s. But I would go, Casino Royale, the foot chase in Madagascar. In terms of car chase, like the movie has some problems, but Matrix Reloaded, that highway chase.
That's a good call, man. That's a great action set piece too. Yeah. Not the best movie, but yeah, definitely some pretty cool action set pieces for sure. And that's one of them for sure.
Karen says, according to you guys, oh yes, we got a new subscriber. Thank you so much.
Nice.
Where was I here? Sorry. Karen says, according to you guys, which is the best must-watch web series ever made till date? I think she means to date. Cobra Kai was on YouTube Red or YouTube Premium before it went to Netflix. So I'm going to use a cop-out and go Cobra Kai.
I'm trying to think web series. There was what was it, 2013 to 2015 maybe? There was a Mortal Kombat web series, which was pretty badass and pretty awesome and much better than the film, I may say. But yeah, I'll go with Mortal Kombat. It was like 2.5, 3 seasons, and it was pretty awesome. So I'll go with that.
Did you see the first Mortal Kombat movie back in the day?
Oh yeah, I've seen them all, man. I was a big Mortal Kombat fan growing up, and I've seen them all. Some of the animated have kind of slipped under the radar for me, but I've seen all the live action Mortal Kombat adaptation.
Gotcha. Original or newer one this year?
Oh, I'm going with the original, man. I wasn't the biggest fan of the new one, especially after watching the rewatch. It's fun for what it is, but just like I don't know, it was a parody almost of itself, and then it's try to take itself too seriously, and then stuff like I don't even remember his name now. I think it was Cole, I thought that character was so, and I get the point what they were trying to do. He was the lens for the audience, but I did
Mm-hmm.
not want to see the movie through his lens because he was just a trash character and just everything about Cole I hated.
Yeah,
And I
fair.
just thought, yeah, it should have been more of Kano. It should have been more of Liu Kang and more of the
Mm-hmm.
characters that I grew up with, and more Scorpion. Only like 3 scenes with him and Sub. It should have been Sub-Zero and Scorpion the whole film, and throwing in some other
Mm-hmm.
characters later. If you're not going to give us a tournament, so yeah, I
Yeah,
wasn't
that's
the
true.
biggest fan, so I'll go with the OG.
Yeah, I had more fun watching the OG for
Yeah,
sure.
it knew
Like,
what it was. It knew what it was.
yeah, and you cannot go wrong with that song, that theme.
Yes.
Oh, you could still bring that out to a dance club today. It would still work. Here's a good one. Christian asks, "Do you guys watch Pixar films? And if so, which is your favorite?" I'll let you go
Pixar
first.
lover here, man. I know you're a big Disney fan and Pixar fan as well, but yeah, I love Pixar. Love what they've been doing too since from a kid to where we are now. And I'll go with to answer the question. Incredibles is still my number one, man, because I'm a big comic book fan, and this was
Mhm.
the Fantastic Four, as everyone says. It's Fantastic Four done right. Good coming of age, great story of family coming together, fighting, the good fight. I just love Incredibles, but of course, Toy Story too. But yeah, I got to go with my Incredibles, man. I love those films.
Incredibles has definitely a high spot, top 3 for sure, maybe even number
Yeah.
2. Like that is one when people say like, "Oh, Pixar knows how to make a movie for adults and children." I think
Mhm.
that movie might be the best example of that.
Yes.
It's probably my dad's favorite film, and I can totally see why.
Mhm.
Family. He has a son and a daughter. Myself.
Mhm.
So it's like I think we were about to be The Incredibles once for Halloween, but we didn't end up doing it. But
Nice.
like I'd have to rewatch all of them to give me like a real good understanding. But
Yeah.
probably the OG Toy Story. Yeah,
It's
Toy
a
Story
special one,
2.
man.
Toy Story 2
Special.
is good. It's
Mm-hmm.
like depending on the day, like that one is so good.
And I'm telling, sometimes 3 gets in that category too, man. For my favorite Toy Story film, they're all just 3 perfect films, and I
Mhm.
like the 4th one, but yeah, those 3 are just like untouchable.
Yeah, at the 4th one, like my buddy put it the best. He said, like, you know what? That was a movie that a lot of people said, "Oh, really? We're doing a 4th
Mhm.
one? Do we really need a 4th one?" And they still give us a quality movie. Like,
Right.
man, if
Right.
that one sucked, that would be such an insult to a lot of people. Um,
True.
here's one. So I was on Instagram Live before this stream to get people excited for it, and
Mhm.
someone mentioned it. I think it was actually Max. Elliot, how do you find the time to keep up with so many TV shows?
I take a page out of the TVA, man. I'm me and Owen Wilson Mobius, he helps me out with some time resetters. But no, it's just scheduling, man. Like I'm a night guy, so I normally stay up at night and watch a lot of content. I work from home for the majority of the time, so I'm able to kind of multitask and watch an episode here and there. So yeah, it's just about scheduling. It's just about carving out that time, and sitting down, taking some notes, and jumping on the camera and recording. So yeah, it's just about scheduling stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, man. It's sometimes I think about it. Just doing things. I'm like watching a YouTube video and I'm going like, oh my god, I've been sitting here for an hour. So like it's definitely
Yeah.
timing, and the grind's paying off, man. You're taking off, and I'm happy for you, buddy. So
that.
I'm cheersing you for that one. Christian asks, do you think there will be a season 2 for the Mighty Ducks? Something about, or sorry, there's no commas. Do you think there will be a season 2 for the Mighty Ducks? Something about the ending just didn't feel right. I thought they ended the show where they probably should have. Like spoiler alert, they win the tournament, they get the name back. I don't hear that much buzz about it. So I don't think there will be a season 2, unfortunately. So, did you see Mighty Ducks?
I didn't. No, it didn't. I was a fan of it growing up as a kid, but then when I saw the trailer, it just didn't hit me in the feels. Like
Mhm.
I know you're a big fan of it, but
Mhm.
overall, would you say it's something that pays homage to the movies as well as kind of creates its own lane, or
Yeah, but it's not as good. Like,
not as good? Yeah.
it's the reason why I enjoyed it was because I was such a huge fan of the
Yeah.
original. If you're
Yeah.
not a huge Mighty Ducks fan, don't worry about
Yeah.
it. Like,
Gotcha.
I know from a hockey standpoint, the hockey is just brutal.
Oh,
you can
really?
you can definitely tell that these are not athletes. playing. And when you have like the sports montage of the team getting better, it's like
Mm-hmm.
those simple Windows Movie Maker tricks, and I'm like, these kids don't know anything about playing hockey. So, but that's just my take.
Yeah.
Angela says, "What is your favorite alien invasion movie or series?"
Alien Invasion. Jeez,
War of the Worlds is popping out to me right now. The Tom Cruise
that's a good
one.
one. Tom Cruise. Yeah, those. Yeah, this. Yeah, that's a good. That's good. I'll go. This might be unorthodox, but there are aliens. I'll go with Infinity War.
Yeah,
The Outriders are aliens. If Thanos is an alien,
yeah.
but nah, that's a cop out answer. I'm trying to think. Alien Invasion.
I mean, you got
Yeah, War of the
Independence
Worlds.
Day.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one.
It's a guilty pleasure for me, for sure.
Man, there's so many to choose from.
I,
You know what? I'll go with recent biasy, man. I'll go with the Quiet Place franchise.
okay, yeah, that definitely works.
Yeah.
Edge of Tomorrow is also a good one.
Ah, man, when will we get that sequel, Mr. Cruz? Speaking of, Quiet Place, Emily Blunt, they're so busy. Yeah, I would love to get that sequel inevitably.
Yeah, I definitely want to see Quiet Place 2. It's coming. It's coming soon.
Mm.
Cinema Creep says, how many movies do you think you've watched so far this year? I'm going to assume that they mean new,
New movies,
but
yeah, let me go to my
it could be,
letterbox.
excuse me, could be total. I'd say I'd watch a film every second day. So, you have June, so that's 6 months times 30. So 6 times 3 is 180 times, so 90. I'll just divide that by 2. So a film every second day, average. So I'll go 90.
Gotcha. Yeah, as far as if it is just like new movies, I don't track the like rewatches that I do.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as new films, I'm looking at 42 new films so far this year.
Nice.
Which is a little bit behind from because I almost had clocked in almost at 200 new films last year, so a little bit behind from last year's pace, but hopefully we'll pick it up.
200 films total, or 200 films since
New
June?
films. 200 films last year was like all new films that I saw last
Okay,
year.
gotcha.
And like I said, that includes the rewatches. So it was I saw 200
Right.
new films in 2020, and
Okay.
hopefully to see 200 this year. New
I
films.
thought you said I thought you meant like 200 new films last year at June, like from
no.
January to June. It's like, oh my god, this guy, he really is a night owl. Here's a good one. Sean Abbott says, Raya the Last Dragon, or Moana, or Tangled. Rank them, maybe.
Raya, Moana, Tangled.
I haven't seen Tangled in a long time,
Yeah, it's been a minute.
but
man.
I'll go Tangled, then Raya, then Moana.
I'll go Moana, Raya, and Tangled.
Interesting.
Yeah, I love Moana. I love the soundtrack more so than anything. Out of all, well, Raya doesn't have any singing, but between those two, I love the soundtrack for Moana, and I just love the story. And then Raya, I was a really big fan of that kind of action film that we got with that. And Tangled, yeah, like I said, I haven't watched it in so long. It was a fun film when I watched, but I don't revisit it as often as I do other Disney films.
Yeah, I think that like I'm rating it so high because I remember like really liking it, but I haven't seen it in so long. Like Big Hero 6, I remember I loved it in the theater.
Oh, that movie's so awesome. Yeah.
And then day one, I bought the Blu-ray and I watched it and I loved it. I haven't seen it since.
Yeah.
And I don't really remember it too much. Like I remember some scenes, but it's like I need to go back and watch that.
Did they announce not a sequel, but a series, if I'm not mistaken, when they did that whole Disney investor day that they announced a TV series for Big Hero 6, which is like kind of well overdue, but hey, hopefully we'll get back in that universe.
Yeah, I mean, if Wreck-It Ralph can get a sequel, then I think Big Hero 6 deserves something. We're getting more Monsters, Inc. But hey,
I'm not excited for that, man. I'm not gonna lie. And I love the first one. Not a big fan of the University too much, but I'm not excited about this show at all. I haven't even seen the trailer for it. I know the original cast is back, but I don't know. I'm just not too excited about it. Monsters at Work or something like that.
Yeah, I was supposed to be a part of the like the press junket for it, like the Zoom one. But I got mixed up with the East Coast times. It was 12 p.m. East Coast time, not 12 p.m. Pacific Coast time. So I ended up missing it, but I'm messaging them like, hey, can I still do some coverage? Disney, if you're watching, please. But speaking of which, we have 20 people in the chat, and I wanted to wait a little bit because I have some contests to announce. And Elliot, you can join this too. So we have, for Canadian residents, we have a Blu-ray copy of the Indiana Jones 4 movie collection to give away. But for Canadian and US residents, we have a 4K copy, not a digital copy, but an actual 4K copy of Godzilla versus Kong. So moviescenecanada.com, link is in the description. The contest is there. Good luck, everybody. So it's not a digital code. I mean, I always see like giveaways.
Thing.
I'm like, oh, they're gonna give away the whole thing. And they go, oh, just digital copy. And even still, Facebook Marketplace today, I saw Back to the Future 4K, $15. I'm like, what? Digital codes.
Digital codes. The codes are taking over, man.
Mm-hmm. All right, what do we got here? So Karen Paul, hey, can you suggest any entertaining movie that you have watched a million times and still love it? I'll let you go first.
It's actually right behind Brandon on his left side, Jurassic Park. I can watch that anytime, whenever, any day, and just fall in love with it all over again. Just bringing me back to being a kid. Just the wow factor, the story, the adrenaline, the pacing, just everything about the score. I love that movie. I can watch it any day, every day. It's my favorite film of all time. So I'll go with Jurassic Park.
How old were you when you saw it in the theater for the first time?
I saw it. It was like it had like a. I didn't see it when I was younger. I saw it when I was like actually a teenager.
Okay.
This was like in 2012, maybe. So yeah, like about 9 years ago. Yeah, for the first time ever. Yeah.
Gotcha. Right on. That was a movie that like all my friends, all my like older family friends had on VHS. And I was young. I was pretty young, and I'm like, what's this dinosaur movie? And then I finally, in university, I said, all right, let me just actually sit down and watch this damn movie and actually really try to get into it. Yeah, I get the hype. I get the hype so much that it's back there. I'll go with, not my favorite movie of all time, but I see the poster right there. I'll go with The Matrix. That one, man. That one just. Like I get something new from that movie every single time. One time I'm looking more from the action set point, and then I'm looking about it from is real life just a simulation? And you think about the philosophy about it, but then also I think about it in terms of Neo, in terms of just believing in himself, and that is such a powerful message to learn from yourself. That you can't be going around the world just doubting yourself. You gotta, if you know that you can do something, then it's going to be a lot easier to actually learn how to do something. So I'll go with The Matrix, and I can't argue against Jurassic Park either. That's amazing. Christian says, have you guys been watching Big Shot on Disney Plus? I haven't.
Is that a reality show with like? It's
the basketball one with John Stamos.
Okay, gotcha. The girl basketball team and all that stuff. Gotcha. No, I haven't even heard anyone talk about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, neither have I. Sydney asks, Christian Bale, your favorite movies from him? These are pretty easy. I mean, there's easy answers with The Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight trilogy, American Psycho,
Ford v Ferrari.
Ford v Ferrari is great. The Fighter. Man, the man has so many great films, even in his younger days. But those are some good ones that we just rattled off.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I remember liking Public Enemies back in the day, but I haven't seen it in so long. So
Johnny Depp.
Yeah, so I can't really recommend that one, but those ones are all good. American Psycho too, like.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Let's see. Karen, so what is your favorite horror slasher movie?
OJ Halloween. Favorite horror and slasher, or just like horror in general and then slasher, or just combining the two?
I guess just slasher, like horror slasher, like country western. Put them two together.
Yeah, you said it. Yeah, it's Michael Myers, The Shape, 1978, Halloween, John Carpenter. Man, that's OG. I love it. And then second to that, probably Scream, 96 Scream.
Yeah, you know what? I'll just copy. I'll just say, copy that one. I agree with you. Doc says, are you planning on seeing Top Gun Maverick this November? Absolutely. I cannot wait. Yeah, what about you?
Same. I saw the film for the first time like a year ago, and I'm a big Tom Cruise fan. It was like on my bucket list for the longest time. But yeah, I'm really excited for it. I feel so bad for Mr. Cruise. I'm a big Tom Cruise fan, and with everything, with that film being delayed, Obviously, Mission Impossible got delayed, supposed to be shot back to back. Now we got to wait like 2 years for the eighth one. So yeah, man, I'm glad to see Mr. Cruz back in theaters come this November, because we know he's trying to fight for the theaters and fight for movies this last year. So yeah, man, I'm excited for it.
I think those films are gonna be like huge hits. I think because like we've been waiting so long for an event to go back to a theater. I think a lot of people are gonna get excited for it.
Definitely.
I think more so than if it just came out normally.
I think I agree with you.
I hope that No Time to Die is the same way. But
oh man, that's not to go on that
go for
film
it.
has like went off the map. As
Yeah.
far as there's nothing about 007 at all. There's no like TV spots. There's no, I mean, of course, it's coming out in November, but hell, I mean, I feel that movie. I guess they don't have they've lost so much money after all those three marketing pushes.
Yeah,
man, I feel so bad for that for Daniel Craig's last performance as Bond, man. It sucks.
And they released the song too by Billie Eilish, and it didn't chart, so it's too bad. But hey, I think they'll get one last big marketing push. Like it is James Bond, the name alone will get some attention. But let's hope so. Let's see. Aaron says, I recently saw Raya and the Last Dragon, and I thought the movie had a great story and interesting characters. The ship captain sounded like a really comedic character. Oh, it's just a statement. Yeah, it's a good one.
I enjoyed it.
Let's just see. Hey, Brando, layout is looking good. Thanks, Jay. Sean says, do you ever get compared to Lil Ray Howery at Movie Files? I don't know. I don't know who that is.
What is he from? Well, he was in Get Out. He was the TSA guy from Get Out that helped Daniel Kaluuya at the end of the film, his close friend.
Oh,
what else is he in? He was in that new movie with Andre, like the comedy joke show. I can't think of. Yeah, that's the only things I can think of him. But no, I haven't gotten that. So I don't know if that's a compliment or not. But yeah.
Sydney says, Gene Hackman, your favorite movies from him, go.
Oh, man, Gene Hackman.
Superman.
What a legend. Yeah, Superman, Unforgiven comes to mind.
Still got to see that.
Oh, that film's excellent. Mississippi Burning comes to mind. Jeez, man. He's a GOAT, man. Hoosiers, I'm a big basketball fan. Him as a coach was fantastic.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Man, he's a legend, man. He's a legend out in these streets, man. And what's the Royal Tenenbaums? I love that film.
Yes, that's right. That's a good one too. Speaking about basketball, who are you cheering for now?
Man, I don't have a dog in the fight, Brandon. I really don't, man. And honestly, I'm becoming that age now. So I growing up, basketball was my first love. Played through middle school, high school, a little bit in college. But unfortunately, kind of once bills had to come about, had to kind of put my basketball dreams aside. But no, I was grew up a Kobe fan, man. So naturally, I grew up a Lakers fan, and obviously him retiring, and again, RIP to the GOAT, Kobe Bryant. I follow the Lakers, LeBron, respect him and whatnot, but I don't really have that like diehard team like I used to be with the Lakers. So I know what's going on. We got the Clippers and you got them down 0-2 versus Utah. So I would say if I were rooting for someone, man, I like what the Suns are doing, man. I'm a CP3 fan. I would like that underdog fight. I mean, they took out the Lakers, so it'd be nice for them to take the championship. But I doubt anyone's going to get past KD, Kyrie, and James Harden. And out there in Brooklyn, they're pretty unstoppable.
Yeah, and that's Steve Nash. Steve Nash is the coach.
Steve Nash is the coach, yeah, which is again that package. Like I was a huge Steve Nash fan growing up, one of the best point guards to ever play the game. So he has that knowledge that he's passing down to Kyrie and James Harden, and again that team. They even have Blake Griffin, who's a little bit on the downhill his career, but he's still a good player. So they got a great team, man. So yeah, I think Brooklyn's gonna probably take the championship.
Very nice. Have they won it before?
They haven't. No, this would be a franchise first if they, ultimately do get to the holding up that trophy at the end of June.
Yeah, that's generally who I cheer for in playoffs for any sport. If the team has never won anything, that's why I actually never watch baseball. But when I watched the Cubs versus the Indians because both those teams have never won or haven't won in like 100 years. So that was some great sports. But yeah, and then you got. I think Utah, those back-to-back losses against Chicago, that's gotta hurt. So maybe they can do it, but yeah, I think you're right. Brooklyn might take it home.
Yeah, that team is unstoppable.
Sean Abbott says, "Is Barry Lyndon a boring movie? To some people it would be, but I thought that movie was just brilliant because it, like, every single frame just looked beautiful. Have you seen Barry Lyndon?
I haven't, man. It has been on the list for so long, my friend. I have to sit down and watch it one day.
Kubrick is, I because I just watched 2001 for the first time and I did a video on it, and I'm
I
realizing
saw that.
that
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. Yeah. How'd you, well, I guess I watched the video, but just kind of a little bit tidbit. What'd you think of it?
yeah, like I loved it, and I said, like, millennial complaint, the pacing was, it was a slow burn. It was definitely a slow burn, but like when you leave it, you're like, oh my god, it was so deep. There's so many different meanings and allegories and metaphors. Like, that's what Kubrick, to me, is really good at doing. But some people, like, I remember in film school, it was a constant debate, like, oh, Kubrick's the best ever, Kubrick's a hack, Kubrick sucks. Like, where do you fall on the Kubrick? I haven't seen all his movies, but from the ones I've seen, I'm definitely like, he's one of my favorites. I am totally down for it.
Yeah, same with you, man. I haven't seen all of his films. I've seen the big ones, and like you, I appreciate them. I love them. I think they're just art at its finest, by a great artist. So yeah, I'm a big Kubrick fan, man. He's one of the best.
Yeah, I would say so as well. Christian says, will Disney Plus win the battle against Netflix? I'm gonna say yes. But what about you?
I think I'm right there with you, man. I think just the fact, again, we were talking about Loki earlier, the fact that you can have this type of earth shattering reveal in a TV show, and it's the highest rated show of the three so far, and it's going to continue to be, as the shows keep rolling out, the next one's going to beat the next one. So, and they already, was it 2008, no, 2019 that they've created, Disney Plus, and they already have 100 and 10 115 million subscribers, and Netflix is like 210 or 215, and it took them 13 years to achieve that. So yeah, I mean, Disney's at a much faster pace. But also, do not sleep on Amazon, especially with that acquisition of MGM and all the stuff with the Lord of the Rings that they're going to be doing. So Amazon, I think Amazon and Disney Plus will probably eclipse Netflix probably in the next 3 to 4 years, if not sooner.
Yeah, I definitely agree, because Disney is not just a movie company. It is a conglomerate, just with ESPN and ABC, and they have their theme parks, and they got, like, Disney is huge. And then Amazon is huge. Netflix, compared to those two companies, not streaming services, but companies, is just so small. And, I think the only way that Netflix stays alive is with original content. They have to keep pumping that out, because, you have, what's it? I think Peacock, right? That one's Universal, right?
Yep.
That's not up here yet. I don't know when that's coming. Then you got Paramount Plus. So you have all the studios taking all their content back. What's Netflix going to be left with, right?
Exactly.
Like Lionsgate, or like some other studios that don't necessarily have the big,
have their own streaming platform. Yeah.
So yeah, it's just,
I'm surprised no one's like, I think Apple tried to, I don't know if it's still going on. I'm surprised no one's like talk to A24, to get, because one of the things about A24, which I love that studio, but a lot of their movies are so niche, they don't really find a lot of audience members to really kind of, Lighthouse, The Witch, all those great films, but they don't really get the blockbuster numbers. So I would love for some streaming service to not exclusively put all their movies on their platform, but let people, allow them to see those independent films, uncut gems and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's a
I'm
good
surprised
point.
no one's really picked them up.
That's a good point. Yeah, if Apple TV gets that, then it's like, okay, well, then you at least have a certain different market. You like talking about video games, you have like the Xbox and PlayStation. They're always battling it out, but then you always have Nintendo, but they're just over here. They're not even competing, because they're its own thing. So they kind of said, like, we're not going to compete with you guys. We're going to do our own thing. And then we're always going to have, money coming in. We're always going to be around. So yeah, I could see something like that happening with A24 coming into a certain streaming service, if that happens. Random question. Settle a score for me. Is Timothée Chalamet A-list?
Man, that's such a.
I'd say, I said no. I was on a movie like fight show, so like we all gotta place an argument, and we all have to like battle each other, and I got booted off for saying that he wasn't A-list. So I'm just curious.
Well, so I guess it's just the parameters of A-list. We're talking like box office receipts or social media presence. I guess all of that, including because he hasn't been in a blockbuster. Like he's not a movie star. You know, he's not. I don't think he brings people to the seats. You know, we'll see obviously what happens with Dune. But yeah, I would say he's an A-list in today's society. Instagram. Well, I don't think he has an Instagram, but like he has that like young girls and
Yeah.
boys want to be him type of, you know, that
Mm-hmm.
sex appeal, a young, you know, Brad Pitt in his heyday, or even I compare him to a lot to Johnny Depp.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully his career doesn't go down that path with
Yeah.
all the stuff later in his
Exactly.
career. But no, I don't think he's like traditionally speaking a Rock type of A-list or
Mm-hmm.
Tom Cruise where he can bring people into the theater. But like I said, we'll see what happens with Dune in regards to that entire cast and if they can bring people back, because I'm so excited for Dune. And I like Timothy Chalamet. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a great actor actually, but I don't think he's traditionally speaking an A-lister.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. But first of all, Jason, thank you so much for the super chat, man.
Oh, nice,
dude. You're like,
awesome.
I keep making the joke to the same guy. You're putting my kids through college. Jason, man, you're the man. Totally,
That's
man.
awesome.
But yeah, like I totally agree. So you totally got it down. So I said the question was, who is the most promising young up and coming actor? And I said Timothy Chalamet, because he's been in a lot of Oscar buzz movies. I think he's been nominated already. Or has he been?
Did he get nominated for Call Me by Your Name? I can't remember.
I'm not too sure, but he's been in movies like that. You know, he definitely has like that star presence. He's got the looks. And someone said he's not young. I'm like, 25 I consider to be young. You know what I mean?
100%.
But like, if you just ask, he's not a name. Like a Brad Pitt, a Leonardo DiCaprio is a name. But Timothy Chalamet, I would say, is not a name yet, because he hasn't brought in all those numbers. Like, he's not like, let's go see this new Timothy Chalamet movie. But with Dune, you know, he's now getting that big blockbuster, and he could, you know, potentially be that next Brad Pitt. They said, oh, I don't buy it. He's been on Saturday Night Live. Everyone knows who it is. Everyone knows who he is. And teenage girls love him. So he's an A-lister. And I got booted off. So I'm like, whatever. But
I bet you, like, our parents don't know who Timothy Chalamet is.
Yeah.
Like, they don't know who he is.
That's my point. And they're like, well, mine does. Well, okay, you win, I guess. But yes.
And he did get nominated for Call Me by Your Name.
Right.
So he does have that. Again, I think you're so right. He's on a really different path in regards to his career. He didn't go too straight to a MCU. I mean, of course, he worked with Christopher Nolan pretty early on in his career, and a lot of people forget he's in Interstellar, but of course, a very small role. But yeah, he's
Is he the kid?
He's the Casey Affleck, the teenage version of him.
Oh, right. Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's right.
But yeah, no, I think he's doing a really interesting career path. And honestly, I don't think, besides like a Dune, but I think Dune's like a independent blockbuster. Like it's you know, it's the cast is very indie. You know, Denis Villeneuve, who's my favorite director, he kind of has that very independent type of approach. So it's you know, I don't think he's gonna gravitate towards doing like a buddy cop, you know, romantic comedy type of thing. I think Timothée Chalamet is gonna keep it in that independent feel for probably a while. We'll see.
Yeah, like if they say, you know, we're doing another Star Wars trilogy, Timothy Chalamet is our star, I'm like, okay, now he is like, people know who this guy is. So, Karen says, have you guys watched Fast and Furious 9? If yes, do you like it or not? I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't either. The screening is next. I have a screening for it next week, I think. And I'm not like super over the moon about it. Funny enough, I haven't seen any of the main franchise Fast films in theater. I only seen Hobbs and Shaw in theater, which I actually have a fun time with that film. So it'll be my first time actually seeing like an actual Fast and Furious in theaters.
Right.
I have fun with them. I don't take them too seriously. But this one, I don't know. This one just looks. We say this every time, but this one looks like too over the top. Like it looks too goofy. I saw a clip the other day with Vin Diesel fighting his brother, Mr. John Cena, and that scene was just so. They're literally throwing each other through like 8-inch like brick. Like it's just ridiculous what they're able to do at this point. That they're not dead.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's a crazy franchise. And I read today, Vin Diesel said that they did confirm they're doing 2 more films. So we're going to get 11 Fast and Furious movies and whatever spin-offs come after that.
I mean, family. Yeah.
Tom Toretto.
I love the joke. Red Letter Media said it. It's like Vin Diesel when he talks. Sylvester Stallone goes, "What did he say? I don't understand him. What's going on?" But you know, yeah, like I consider those movies superhero films because you know you have like your Nick Fury, Kurt Russell, their superhero suits are their cars. They're flying. They're throwing people through buildings. Like in Fast and the Furious 7, The Rock just goes like, "Daddy's got to go to work," and flexes a cast off. So, but that's why it's so much fun. So.
Yeah. Yep.
Have you seen the Hotel Transylvania 4 trailer? Throwing up garbage can. The emojis next to it.
I think I caught a clip of it. It's they lose their powers, I think, in the trailer from what I remember. So like Dracula becomes like a man, like a regular human being, and all the monsters become like their human being selves, which I guess is like an allegory to maybe the pandemic. Maybe, I don't know. People have to face their true. I don't know. I stopped watching Hotel Transylvania after the first one, but I heard they're fun. But
yeah,
I've
never seen a single one. I haven't seen any.
The first one was actually pretty funny, but yeah, they 4 of them, so they're making. I think they're like the Minions franchise, where they just continuously make money after money after money.
What studio is that? Is that Sony?
Yep, it is.
Gotcha. Because it's Adam Sandler, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
Cybatico asks, are there any movies that you want sequels to that aren't currently in the works? I gotta think about that one too.
Yeah, it'll never happen. What was yours?
I was gonna say Rocketeer, but there's no chance. There's no chance.
Hey man, Disney Plus, they're bringing back. We got the Mighty Ducks. Bring back Joe Johnson, that whole crew, and do like a spinoff or something. They're kids.
And that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I think they did like a Disney Junior, like Little Einstein's Rocketeer, something like okay. I don't know if that's what we wanted, but what about you?
Man, this will never happen, ever, ever, ever. But we were talking about Interstellar earlier. I don't know, man. I just want to see that mission. I want to see Cobb get Anne Hathaway's character from the Earth that she found, man. Just kind of see what else we can play in that world. By the way, that's my favorite Christopher Nolan film to date. I have I can speak so highly about that film. I love Interstellar, man. The score, the acting. Love you, Murph, forever. I love that film, man. It gets me every time.
Yeah, I gotta like that bookshelf scene. I was like, I don't know what's going on, but I definitely need to watch it again, because I definitely think that I'm gonna understand it again. I have it, so it's on the to watch list again. But this is a fun one. Sean asks, what worst food you've ever had at a movie theater?
Worst food. So I've been to, like, I've dined at those, like, not boutique, but the restaurant theaters. And this is back when I was eating meat. I had some chicken tenders that tasted, so I don't even think they were cooked. It was pretty nasty, man. It was nasty. I don't even like to normally eat at theaters, so that's why it was probably a bad choice on my end to get chicken at a theater. But yeah, that was disgusting.
Yeah, no moment. Yeah, probably undercooked, huh? I don't like. I've been a couple of those as well. I can't remember any. I think there was like a Caesar salad where it was just drowning in balsamic dressing. I might as well just drank the bottle. I think that was at the theater, but I'll go with that. But another question from Sean is, do you guys have a favorite sports moment, real life, not in a movie?
Yeah, when I was a kid, this is a basketball. Well, not a kid, younger in high school. We were our team was a record. We were 49-1. We had a A team and a B team, and combined we were 49-1. And we had this is our rival game versus Nequa, and we were down going to halftime by like 15 points. Crawled our way back, cut it to like 6 going to the fourth quarter. Down 4 points with 2 minutes left, and we came back, and it was just like the greatest moment ever. Like, it was just the crowd was there. We were just hyped. It was so we won. Long story short, but I just remember just being in that atmosphere. It was just like a movie moment. Especially being a big sports fan.
How about sports watching?
I'll go with. It got to be a Kobe moment. Let's see. I'll go with Kobe beating the Boston Celtics Game 7 for his the back-to-back championship. It was 2009-2010 season. Obviously, LA, Boston, huge rivals.
Mm-hmm.
Two of the best NBA teams ever as far as championships go. So I'll go with when Kobe finally got his revenge to the Celtics Game 7 to get his last championship.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, like you obviously saw the Michael Jordan Last Dance documentary, right, on Netflix.
Jeez, man, I love that.
Man,
so excellent.
That might have been the best sports doc I've ever seen.
So great, dude. Michael Jordan, that man. You talk about a good guy who's a villain behind the scenes, man. The manipulation, the stories he would tell himself to get himself amped up, the competitive nature of that guy, man. That's why you don't get too many Michael Jordan in the world, or in my opinion, Kobe Bryant mentality. That just like they want to win. No matter who they hurt, no matter what, if you're not on the same page with them, get off our team. You're like, oh my gosh, dude, that is a once in a lifetime type of. Yes, oh my goodness, man.
Like
Steve Kerr,
like he would be like, oh, what's this chess thing? I will learn how to destroy you in chess.
Exactly, man.
Oh man, and then you use the term like the Michael Jordan of golf, the Michael Jordan of baseball, the Michael Jordan of hockey, the Michael Jordan of Michael Jordans. So. That's a good one though. Personal moment, I would say it was I was playing soccer and we had an undefeated season, but we were playing the best team from another league, and there was a thunderstorm.
Oh, this is a classic.
Like there was fog, I couldn't see anything. I was the goalie, and we went to penalty shots. And the final shot, I dove up, I just got it and I saved it, and then my whole team just rushes to me and I'm freezing. The wind is going so fast. There's a thunderstorm, it's hailing. It was like a boss battle.
The world. Yeah.
I won the state, not the state championships, the district championships, I guess, like the city championships in hockey once. That was a lot of fun. Then we went to provincials and it was like a single game knockout and we just got our asses kicked. 5-0. So I mean, it was cool to go to provincials, but it was what in ball hockey, at least what they do where I am, some cities, they all they spread the best players out to every single team. But then some cities have all the A-rated players on one team, all the B-rated players on one team. So it's you're playing stacked teams. So that was brutal. Yeah. But in terms of real life, my team, the Canucks, we cannot beat Chicago. We just can't do it. 2009, we lose in 6 games in the second round. 2010, lose in 6 games in the second round. And then we win we win the season, most points. And who do we play in the 8th seed of the playoffs? Chicago. Third year in a row. We're up 3 games to nothing, and they win the next 3 games, and they force overtime. But then we scored. I've never jumped so high and screamed so loud, and there were tears going down my eyes. It's an amazing goal.
Is there, to that point, man, because does a moment like that, is there any, for movies, music going, any type of experience, when you have that type of passion for a sports team and they do something like that, is there anything that can match that?
I don't think so. I already said, I think I know that the 3 greatest days of my life are going to be my wedding, the birth of my first child, and when, not if, when the Canucks win a Stanley Cup, because they never have. They've come close. They've been to the finals 3 times.
Ago, right?
2011.
Yeah.
So that was the last time, and that was the year 2011. So they went to the finals that year.
Gotcha.
But then also I saw my my team because I never watched soccer. I watched the World Cup, and Germany is my team, and they won the World Cup on my 19th birthday.
Oh wow!
But I was in Seattle. And it's 21 drinking age, obviously. At home in Canada, it's 19, so I couldn't even celebrate. But I snuck a few beers out there. So those are my favorite sports moments.
Yeah, man. Sports are great, especially when you have a team that you grew up with, rooting for your entire life, and just seeing them you feel a part of the team.
And I love those buzzer beater moments in basketball. I watched live the what's the guy's name in Toronto, and he
Kawhi Leonard when he did shot over Joel
bounced.
Embiid. Yep, that oh my gosh, can you imagine being that posing team? I think Joel Embiid, who was the center that tried to block it, he bust out crying at that moment. I mean that has to be so heartbreaking. Game 7, Kawhi, man.
Yeah, that was legendary. That was one of the
That
best
was.
basketball moments that I saw,
Yeah, and they
for
won the
sure.
championship too that year.
Sydney goes. Oh wow, the chat just went crazy on me. Choose a Christopher Nolan movie: Memento or Insomnia. I'll go Memento because I haven't seen Insomnia.
I'll go with Memento as well. I love Insomnia. It's based on like I think it's one of the like only films that's based on something. It's not like an original Christopher Nolan idea or his brother's idea. So I'll go with Memento just for the originality. But it's a great film. Al Pacino is fantastic. Robert Williams is great in it as well. But I'll go Memento as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I still got to see that one. Rajat says, "Hey, I really like your content. Thanks, Rajat. Have you ever watched any Bollywood movies yet, or do you have any plans of watching it?" Yeah, in the future. Like I did in university, I took a class called World Cinema. So every class we had to go around the world and like look at German expressionism from the 1920s, and then
Yeah.
Italian neo-realism from the 1940s, and then we looked at Bollywood being the biggest film industry in the world. I love Bollywood dance numbers. I love the costumes. I love the way that they're shot. I just love the over-the-top Bollywood musical numbers. I haven't seen a full Bollywood movie, but I did have to write a little report on at least like how they shoot most of those dance numbers. Wow. If you guys love musicals, watch some of those scenes, but I'll definitely watch some of those Bollywood movies. Have you seen many Bollywood movies or any of them?
I'm ashamed to say no, man. I totally agree with you, man. There's so many that people, especially I'm a big action junkie, and I can't think of the franchise. There's an action film that's really popular over there that I've been wanting to see. I think they're like on the fourth one, and they're like Avenger level type of films over there that I heard so much great things about. But I have seen some like Indian type of like shows that I used to watch. Well, not used to, but like on Netflix they had a kind of Indian based show. Batel. It was like a zombie show that was pretty interesting. There's another like supernatural show called Paranormal, which I thought was fantastic. So yeah, I always applaud and love discovering international films and shows. They tend to just like you said, it's like there's a flair to it. There's something unique and original about it, especially like Korean cinema. I love me some Korean cinema, man, and I got to dive deeper into some Bollywood stuff because I know some excellent stuff out there.
Yeah, me too, definitely. I think Tony has asked this question before, but it is an interesting question. Do you guys consider deleted scenes to be canon? I don't because they're deleted. I think it's just in the title there. But I'm curious to know what, like, if there's an example that he's talking about where, like, oh, it happened. Like, I know there's a lot of deleted scenes in Last Jedi. Like Tom Hardy, was supposed to be in that movie. Yeah. And oh, thank God they deleted that scene. Oh, but
suck you right out of the movie, man. If you see someone like that,
that was so bad. But anyway, I don't. But James the Man, In the Heights movie review soon. Didn't you just review it like today?
Who me?
Yeah, In the Heights.
No, I saw that in April, and the embargo lifted like a month and a half ago. But I put out like, hey, check out my review from a month ago. But yeah, that film is it's one of my favorites this year.
Gotcha. Yeah, I guess I gotta check that one out in theaters. Over the last month, it's been hard to watch movies because like when we message studios, they go like, "Oh, are your theaters open?" No, nope, sorry. So it's good that those are opening soon. So
yeah, that sucks, man. Because same with me over here, man. A lot of the studios are not doing screener links as often. They want you to go back to the theaters, which is encouraging, but also it's like kind of forcing you to like just go to but at the same the screeners I've been to have been exclusive to this press, so it hasn't been like a packed house in theaters. But yeah, man, they want you to go in and support those films in the theaters.
Yeah. What was your first in-person like press screening for the press? What was your first one?
Ooh, jeez.
Because did you start getting them?
I actually got screened. Yeah, I used to get screeners like prior to. I'm not even like press like technically speaking, I'm not press at all.
Yeah.
But in regards to like I used to get like early screeners back when I was like in college. Like I remember seeing, and this was just because I had a professor who was also a producer of the first Insidious. So I saw Insidious like 6 months before it came out. So and I've seen other films prior to that. I used to do like a lot of like local contests. You go to listen to a radio station and win, or go to a website and enter your email and tell them whatever their question is. So yeah, I used to get like early access to films prior to doing this YouTube thing. So I really can't recollect what was the first time with the like, I guess like press access. Good question.
Interesting.
Can't think of one. Yeah.
I've only been to one. It was Tenet. So I was glad I got to see that in a theater. But with theaters opening, hopefully we can get on the screener train in theaters. I just can't wait to go to a theater again.
It's great, man. It's great to be back.
Sydney says, "Give me your top 3 greatest movie performances by Bruce Willis."
Ooh, Bruce Willis. I'll go John McClane. And obviously in the first Die Hard. I'll go. I can't think of his character's name in Pulp Fiction. Even though it's kind of a smaller role, but a big role.
Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense is great. Yeah, man.
And then there's Fifth Element.
Looper, I thought he was great in Looper.
Yep.
Ryan Johnson got the best out of him in that. Yeah, I mean, do we consider Bruce Willis one of the best actors?
I don't know about best.
Yeah.
Definitely one of the most popular.
Because I know, like, his tale, like, I feel like it's been like 20, 15 years. The whole Bruce Willis, like, mailing in. Like, I think, like, the whole mailing in thing in today's culture really kind of started with Bruce Willis, especially the whole debacle with him and Kevin Smith. When Kevin Smith, I can't remember the name. He was in a film with
Cop Out.
Cop Out, and he talked about it. He was, like, the worst to work with and, like, just hated working with him. And like, you can just tell, just Bruce Willis mailing in another, performance. And especially last decade, he's like, I think David from Flick Talks have coined this as far as like Blu-ray Willis or something like that, where he's just like on the straight to DVD Walmart bin. So
that's good.
Yeah, Bruce Willis, man. I don't know what to think of Bruce, man. I always appreciate him. I love him growing up, but I don't know if he's like, is he a good actor?
Yeah, like I kind of like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, is he a good actor?
Right.
Probably not. But he picks the right movies for him. So
right.
It's like,
that's a good point.
And I was talking with an actor once, and he said, you know what, everyone can be a good actor. It just depends on who you play, Right. And like, I was listening to some of the behind the scenes with Hacksaw Ridge, and Mel Gibson got someone who amputee, so no legs, and then he played someone who was like, in the battlefield, and he was, for one scene, he was the perfect actor for that part, right? So,
right.
Like, you think of the best actors as like, and there's a good question here from Rajat saying, who's your favorite actor and actress? Like, I'd say Tom Hanks and Tom Cruise. Those are my 2 favorites for the 2 Toms, but Tom Hanks he has a lot of range, but, like, you and I could be good actors given the right role. Probably not a big monologue for me because I don't remember lines, but,
Same here.
So... I'd say he's popular. 90s, very popular.
Right. He was in the same vein as, the Arnolds and Sylvester Stallones in that 90s action genre with Die Hard. But yeah.
Yeah, like Jean-Claude Van Damme, like, he's a bad actor, but his movies work because of he's a genre in himself. But who's your favorite actor and actress? And favorite movie as well.
Favorite movie from those actors and actors?
I think he just means just in general. I don't know if he was here for the beginning when you said Jurassic Park.
Yeah, because it's Jurassic Park's my favorite movie of all time. Favorite actor, man, I'm going with Denzel, man. Every time I see Denzel, he always, even if the film isn't that great, I always feel like he elevates the film. His lines, his monologues, everything he brings to the table is just fantastic. I don't think I've ever seen a bad Denzel performance. I've seen like probably all of his movies. So definitely favorite actor there. Actress, man, there's so many good ones.
Emma Thompson, that's mine.
Emma Thompson's great, man. She is so fantastic.
I finally said, you know what? No, she's my favorite. I always, because like you, I was like, oh God, I don't even know if I have one. I said Margot Robbie a couple times, Emma Stone. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go Emma Thompson. That's my favorite. She's my favorite one.
She was so great in Cruella too. Man, I want to say, I love Charlize Theron, man.
That's a good one.
Frances McDormand, I love too. She comes to mind. I love Viola Davis as well. There's so many great female actors. I don't know. I don't think I can narrow down one because I love so many female actors. But definitely Denzel for me. But there's so many great actors that I love.
Denzel's top 5 for me for sure.
Denzel, man, he's a GOAT.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where it was, but I saw this like one thread on the internet going, "Oh, Denzel was overrated in Training Day." I'm like, I don't know what movies you're
What?
watching. I don't know what
Yeah.
movies you're watching. I don't know what
Yeah.
group this is, but like, wow, it is just, yeah, crazy. Uh, someone said, "Why does your Caesar salad have balsamic?" I don't remember what the. Yeah, exactly, right. But Sean says favorite funniest Coen Brothers movie. I like Burn After Reading. I think that might be the funniest one as well. Big Lebowski's pretty funny as
That's
well.
mine. I was gonna go Big Lebowski, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Harley says, "What David Cronenberg films have you seen, and could you review some?" The only one coming to mind is History of Violence.
Which is a great film.
Yeah. Oh man, why am I blanking?
I'm trying to think too.
Best Disney Plus series so far, and I hear some other people are asking about Loki, but we talked about that earlier in the show. I think it was great, but my favorite Disney Plus series so far, I don't know. You know what? Like, I'm thinking about the Marvel ones because I'm not picking Mighty Ducks. It's not, it's not that good. What did you like better overall, WandaVision or Falcon and Winter Soldier?
Oh man, I tackle with this, especially with Loki coming up because a lot of those questions come up.
Yeah.
I think WandaVision to me had a more concise narrative for what they were trying to accomplish in accomplishing bringing Wanda to becoming Scarlet Witch and really focusing on that character. Like we never lost focus of that. I think the show does have some low points and some, I wasn't the biggest fan of how they wrap things up. It kind of became like a traditional Marvel film with the action sequences. But I think that they did a better job of like, we want to focus on Wanda, excuse me, and we got that in all 9 episodes, and as well as Vision, but definitely Wanda. So I think they did a better job of the character development and building her up into Phase 4. I think what Falcon did better than Wanda was it definitely kind of opened up the MCU a little bit more in regards to tying to other events. Obviously, we have a new Captain America. What does that mean for Sokovia Accords? What does it mean for John Walker and Thunderbolts, which was the big thing that we thought we were going to lead into? So I think it did a better job of like grouping into like the narrative of the MCU, where if you saw Falcon and Winter, or if you didn't see Falcon and Winter Soldier, it ties so much better to Endgame because you saw Sam getting the shield, and next time you see Sam in the film, you don't even have to see the show. Like, oh, he was given the shield in the last movie I saw versus like watching a series.
Yeah,
where, again,
that's a good point.
I think you would have to see WandaVision and really kind of get an understanding of how she became, the Scarlet Witch, because you didn't see her become the Scarlet Witch or even a hint at that of any of the films. So yeah, they each do something good. They each do something a little bit bad, but I think the roundabout way to answer the question, I'm probably going with Falcon and Winter Soldier, man, just because I think I am such a fan of Captain America. I'm such a fan of the morals and what comes of those stories. And I love Winter Soldier. I love the Wakanda stuff that was in there with Dora Milaje. So I think the fan service of me, I think it kind of spoke more to me being a MCU fan more so than WandaVision.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. And you know what, in sound design class, they always say, like, when you're syncing up ADR, it's not how you start, it's how you end. That final episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier is probably my favorite episode out of all of the Marvel series. That one felt most like, I know a lot of people found it a little awkward. I just, it was funny. I watched it with my sister. She doesn't like the suit. Like, as soon as he came out with the new suit, she's like, "Oh, that's lame." Like, I'm like, I'm kind
of anticlimactic. I'm not gonna lie. The way he kind of busted in the wind, it's like we should have seen him in the suit prior to that moment, I think. But
But I think, now that you have Sam as Captain America, Bucky gets his redemption. John Walker got a little bit of a redemption. I'm kind of glad. I'm kind of glad where all the characters left off. Whereas Wanda, yeah, like I didn't hate that ending as much as other people did, but it just, it felt like, I don't know, lackluster is the right word. Anyway.
Yeah, it was just like she took over this town. There's no consequences of her actions whatsoever.
Yes, that's
Vision just goes out, just goes nowhere. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited to see what they do with Wanda moving forward. But yeah, that finale was just kind of a whimper for me.
Yeah, exactly. Crazy Monsoon. Brando, I love what you had to say about 2001. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. That one was a Crazy one. Carl says, what are your thoughts on the new Lord of the Rings animated movie called The War of the Rohirrim coming? Yeah, I just saw a picture about this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I kind of saw a lot of Lord of the Rings content coming with the MGM purchase. Yeah. I mean, why not? Sure. Totally. I don't know anything about it, but yeah, I mean, I love Lord of the Rings.
Same here, man. And it's we're getting a Lord of the Rings kind of renaissance here with the Apple or the Amazon show coming out next year, which is like the most expensive show of all time. I think it's like 465 million for that whole season, which is bananas. Yeah, now this animated series. So yeah, I guess we're getting back into the Mordor and the quest. And this is another prequel too. So we keep going back in time. I would love to see like what the world looks like after what they were able to accomplish after Return of the King. But yeah, man, sign me up.
Yeah, me too. Karen asks your favorite mystery thriller of all time. Mystery thriller. Gone Girl comes to mind.
So great. That's a good one. I'll probably go to another David Fincher film, maybe like 7, man. Mystery thriller aspects. David Fincher is the master at that. He takes a page from Hitchcock from his thrilling aspects of his films.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Like he's a master of tension. And then, yes, Crazy Mansoon says, I keep forgetting that Brando is a Canuck. Yep, Canadian, born and raised. And then Karen says, buddy, are you Canadian or American? I'm Canadian. Mm-hmm. Elliot here is American. From
America.
Well, not from St. Louis. You weren't born there.
Chicago. Yeah, born and raised in Chicago and moved to St. Louis about 5 years ago.
Gotcha. Right. Mm-hmm. Mid-Level Media's in here, saying the Legend Movie Files is in the house. What's up, guys? How's it going, buddy?
Ken, how we doing, man?
Ken will be on the channel on the 28th, which will be on a Wednesday, but you'll see some posts about that soon.
Nice.
What one director that you would love to see a comeback? Mine is good old Frank Darabont. Frank Darabont. What did he do again?
That sounds so familiar. Oh my gosh, Frank, that sounds so familiar. Frank Darabont. What movie? I'll look it up.
While you're looking it up, I will tell everyone in the chat as well. I'll remind everyone that there are 2 contests going on for this is for U.S. residents and Canadian residents. A 4K copy of Godzilla vs. Kong, not digital copy, like the actual physical 4K of Godzilla vs. Kong, and then for Canadian residents only, a Blu-ray set for the Indiana Jones franchise. So in the chat below, or in the description box, Movie Scene Canada, go to their website and you will go to contests and you will see that there. So good luck to everyone out there.
So Mr. Frank, geez, one of my favorite films of all time, but he directed his first film. The first film he did was in 1983, The Woman in the Room, and he follows that up with his next film was Shawshank Redemption. So is and then The Green Mile and Majestic. So and The Mist in 2007. So yeah, he's a pretty good director. He's a pretty good director. He definitely needs to come back because he hasn't directed a film since 2007.
I don't know if it would happen, but I'd like to see a giant Francis Ford Coppola movie. Definitely. Or unfreeze Stanley Kubrick and get that guy back.
What director would I pull out of retirement?
George Lucas.
George Lucas. No, he's sitting on his billions of dollars.
Yeah,
Oh man, that's a good question. Because a lot of my favorite directors are still
working,
kicking it and still alive, and doing their thing. It's a good question. I'll have to come back to that. I'm trying to think.
Christian says, who is the most famous person you ever met? I didn't meet him, but I bumped into him on Grouse Mountain in Vancouver. Oh my God, what's his name? The guy from Office Space. The main guy.
Oh,
he's in The Conjuring. Ron Livingston.
Ron, absolutely, yeah. Ron,
yeah, I looked at him like. But then I realized he films his show Loudermilk and A Million Little Things here as well. So I'm like, okay, I get it. He has a day off. He's with his family. I'm gonna leave him alone. I didn't talk to him just because, I don't know. I hate when I see people like, oh my God, you're this. Can we let them
sign my face?
Yeah, can you sign my face? Just they're out with their family.
Yeah.
Just let them be. But I looked at him like,
double take.
All right, cool.
For me, this was in Chicago. Actually, I didn't like introduce myself, but he was in the same restaurant I was in. That was Spike Lee,
Oh wow.
which was crazy. He's one of my favorite directors of all time. So it was like pretty wild. I'm a big Spike Lee fan. So yeah.
That would have been cool. That would have been cool
Hmm.
to see Spike Lee. Was he all like decked out in just like Lakers hats
Nah,
and
man,
no?
he was just kind of chilling with his group of people, and yeah, man, it was just like, oh, that's one of my
Nice.
favorite directors.
Yeah, he wasn't wearing his Oscars outfit.
No, he was laid back and hiding in the back. Yeah.
Yeah, I just saw Do the Right Thing last year for the first time. That's an
Mm.
amazing movie. Great,
Yeah,
so good.
man. So
Um, I remember I was really young, so I don't
good.
remember this too well. I remember we were in LAX, and my mom started freaking out, and she's like,
Mm.
Brandon, oh my god, oh my god. I'm like, what, mom? That's Dustin Hoffman. I'm like, who's Dustin Hoffman? I was like, I must have been 8 years old or something like that. I'm
Yeah,
like, what? Like, I don't know who that is.
that's funny.
I don't remember seeing him, so I
Yeah.
guess I was in the same vicinity as Dustin Hoffman. But that would have been like, I always think like, what would happen if I saw like just like an A-lister, like if just Brad Pitt just walked in front of me,
Right.
like,
Like you mentioned Margot Robbie or someone like that.
oh boy,
Freaking lose my mind.
yeah.
Ana de Armas or something.
Um, that's a good question though. Toto says, I love deleted scenes. Talking about the deleted scenes things, I see them as an alternate
Mhm.
realities to the story of the movie, which is cool. Deleted scenes are canon in a different movie reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Crazy monsoon. Bruce Willis can act, whether he chooses to or not is the
Is
question.
that yes, that is the question.
That's funny. Yeah, Fargo's very funny. Talking about. I think
Coen
you've,
Brothers films,
I
yeah.
think you've answered this one before.
Hmm.
But which Marvel character do you see yourself in? So I'm assuming he means as, but
Ooh. You know, man, I would like to think I'm a wisecracker, having fun, poking jokes of like serious situations. I will go the smallest of the Avengers, the Ant-Man. I'll go
yeah,
Paul Rudd, Scott Lang, just kind of like the being around all these gods and bigger than life characters, and he's just like Captain America. Wow, I
yeah.
know you too. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Scott Lang probably for me.
Um, Scott Lang's probably my favorite, but
Mm.
who I would see myself as, I mean, it it sounds bad to say Steve Rogers, but just kind of like the clean cut
Yeah.
strapping, like, let's do it boys, like, just, and always like language and always trying to be on the job, and always being serious, and
Yeah.
maybe that's the German in me with this no sense of humor in bad situations, but I don't know. I'll go there.
Big man.
You know what? This is bad. Sydney says Hilary Swank. Your favorite movies from her? I don't think I've actually ever seen a Hilary Swank movie. Sorry.
I haven't seen many myself, but I have seen. I haven't seen it more than once, but you know, I should know she was in Karate Kid 4,
Mm-hmm.
and $1 Million Baby is. I think a lot of people know her from that, and she was. I think she won an Oscar for that role, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that's probably my favorite one.
Mm-hmm.
But she was in the Hunt a couple years ago. Small role, but yeah, I'll go $1 Million Baby.
Yeah, I still got to see that one.
Oh, that film's great.
It won Best
That
Picture,
film's
didn't
great.
it?
Yep. Mhm.
Gotcha. I knew this question would come up. My last live stream, I actually had to block like 3 people just because they were getting all serious about this. But this is a good question. Tony says, "Why do you think guys think? Well, I'm sorry. Why do you guys think that some people are so fixated on the whole wokeness and expecting it in movies now? People like Geeks and Gamers and others."
Mm. Like saying they don't want it in the content or
Well, I think that there's two sides of the spectrum, and like I was
Mhm.
talking about this with one of my friends. You have like, you have like Captain Marvel, and you have the female Ghostbusters, and
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
movies like that. There's always that sort of narrative, unfortunately, which doesn't really happen with Wonder Woman too much. At least I don't see it. But you have
Yeah.
the people where everything is misogynistic and homophobic and everything's terrible. We need
Mhm.
to like create these movies. Like finally we have these movies. And then on the
Mhm.
other side, you have like just the people going, "Oh, everything is woke, everything is
Mm.
terrible, everything is PC." But
Yeah.
yet they're acting the exact same way, just from a different point of view. Like everything
Right.
is wrong.
Right.
It needs to be the way that I want it.
Right.
I mean, I think we live in an age of outrage.
Yeah.
And I think just people want to be outraged, and because it kind of puts them into a victim mentality, which is kind of easier. So then you kind of put all your problems on someone else. Hollywood doesn't get it.
Yeah.
Whether that's putting too much woke crap in there, not enough, whatever the case may be. I just think people just like to be outraged. That's my own personal take.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. Now, let me go. Why do you think you got so many people are fixated? Yeah, I think it's just like you said, I think that the people love the negativity. People love the headlines, the kind of, Disney's going woke, Marvel's going woke. It's just like at one point in time, woke. A lot of people use woke the wrong way. First and foremost, like woke is actually like a good thing.
Yeah.
But now it's been kind of manipulated to be think of it like a bad thing, like being feminist is like a bad, that's a bad thing now. So it's like society has taken these phrases and these words and kind of created it in this new modern time. So yeah, man, it's wild because if you do see, it's so interesting, especially in the Hollywood scheme that we live in, a film that says, you have a film with Margot Robbie, you have a film with Viola Davis, you have a film with, Elizabeth Debicki, and it's just like an action movie with these awesome stars versus another headline, all female led film, and it's just like, okay, what's, here's Hollywood pushing this agenda of an all female led film or all diverse film versus just like Denzel, Viola Davis, directed by Spike Lee versus like this all black cast. So it's really interesting too when you read those headlines in regards to what they're trying to, those buzzwords to kind of really get the clicks. So
yeah. And you know what? There was actually a question from Tony last stream, and he's like, what do you think makes a strong female character? And I said, just take the word out of female, and it's just the same answer. Like the strong character, like what makes a strong character? It doesn't matter if they're male, female, what color of skin they are, what sexual orientation they are, where they're from. They're a strong character, right? But we like to use these buzzwords because they get clicks and things like, I say like Ripley from Alien is a strong character who happens to be female.
To be a female.
Just like any character, like there's characters that are great that are white. There are bad characters who are white. There are good characters who are black. There's bad characters who are black. Like so like it's just the keywords. I think just, like Denzel Washington. He's one of my favorite black actors. He's a great actor.
Right.
Period. Right. There's a reason why he won in Training Day. He's amazing.
Yeah.
Random question. Have you seen Equalizer 2?
I haven't. That's one I said I've seen every Denzel film. That is one that I wasn't running out to go see because I actually love the first one. But when I saw the second one, I'm just like, I don't like Denzel on sequels. He's never done a sequel, and this there's a reason why. But I guess I heard it was okay. I heard it wasn't great. I heard it was nowhere near the first one. But like I said, I know that he normally does not like to do sequels, and I was surprised that he came back to that movie. Not that his movies are like big franchises, but
yeah. What's the one of him on the train? There's two of them, isn't there?
I would say that I think there's one with like Chris Pine. There's another one with like
Unstoppable.
John Travolta, isn't it?
Unstoppable is one.
What is Pelham 1, 2, 3 or something like that? And then the Unstoppable is one with Chris Pine, I believe.
I'm not sure. Yeah, Unstoppable is the one with Chris Pine.
Chris Pine, and then other ones with John Travolta and
right.
Mr. Denzel, yeah.
Right, yeah. Like, so to answer Tony's question, I think people just live in an age of outrage. Like I am totally for more representation, being a bit more even, right?
Yeah.
I just want to see good movies. I don't care who's in them. Totally. Yeah. That's my answer. Sure. Oh God, where are these? What's a good question? Michael says, I have no problem with female-led films, but I'd rather see more original things rather than remakes of a films with guy. Oh, so like, just taking
like the Goldbuster thing, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Deluxe just shows up saying The Human Centipede is my favorite movie. Have you seen that?
I have. And that is an interesting choice there, Deluxe. But kudos to you. That's very experimental, I guess would be the word. That film comes to mind, and Terrifier. Those are two of the most like disgusting films I think I've ever seen. Like I don't know how someone comes up with that, and I'm not being like it's just like I don't know how people come up with those type of concepts, and like someone's like, let's give you thousands of dollars, millions of dollars in some cases to make this film about people putting their faces each other's assholes. So yeah.
Is the Human Centipede like? Does it actually have like a budget? Like I know that there's like the flop busters or like the mock busters with like Atlantic Rim or whatever, or there's the ones where it's like Nazis versus dinosaurs versus pirates versus space guys. But like I remember the Human Centipede of people like in high school going like, "Oh, you gotta see this movie. It's so disgusting. It's awesome." But like they're from people who aren't film people.
Yeah.
But oh,
I mean, according to the almighty Wikipedia, it has a budget of $252,000. So,
well, there you go.
there it is. GoFundMe account.
David Ryder, the right works very hard to demonize those terms: woke, liberal, social. Yeah, definitely. We don't need to get into that, but we all know about that. Max says, "What's your favorite movie from the 1960s?"
Ooh,
I like this question.
Let's see. I'm trying to think.
Sound of Music for me. Sound of Music, and then Mary Poppins, both Julie Andrews films, and then Goldfinger as well is a good one. And when did Chitty Chitty Bang Bang come out?
Originals Ocean's 11. Psycho. Psycho's definitely up there for me. Spartacus. I love that film. Yeah, I'll go with those. It's a good year. Wow. 1960s had some classics.
Did The Jungle Book come out in the 60s?
Or
was that oh no, I think that was the 50s because no, I think it's the 60s because
67. Yeah, 1967.
Yeah, I mean you got The Graduate, you got The Good, Bad and the Ugly, Breakfast at Tiffany's. I don't know if that's 71, but best 60s films. Yeah, I'll go with Sound of Music as my number one, and then Mary Poppins is my number two.
Nice.
And 2001, I'll put that one in there too.
Yeah. It's a good year. It's a good decade.
Curly Sue is the most far-fetched movie of all time. I don't know what Curly Sue is.
Sue? Yeah, I've never heard of that. Comedy?
Oh, this one's a good one. Tony, did you guys see the interview Collider did with J.J. Abrams, where he basically admitted that Disney and Kathleen Kennedy did not have a plan for the sequel trilogy? I did not see the interview, but like, there's this one video where it says, where it shows all the cast members, and you can just tell they're like, oh, I'm so done with this.
Yeah.
It's too bad. You know,
it really is, man, because I think it was so much energy and so much goodwill when they were, the table read with the OG cast, and then there's new cast and all just the stuff going into it. And I remember, man, I'll never forget the hype behind, The Force Awakens and the newscast being in all the different. I had it when I was living in Iowa at the time, and the Iowa, like the local news was there to capture everyone in their costumes and just the energy and the buzz in the room and all that. But yeah, it really is unfortunate how white. I mean, literally, this is something that we'll look at in 20 years, like that Star Wars era of Last Jet or Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker. It's something that I don't think we'll ever forget, man. It's just like it created a whole different way of criticism in regards to just like that whole negative train that came with those three films. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's too bad because I know that a lot of people, like Daisy Ridley, canceled her Instagram, and Kelly Marie Tran, and I don't get the. Like, I don't think this is where it started, but I think it definitely became mainstream when people just felt the need to, like, go on actors' social media. And it's like, they don't choose to...
Yeah, they don't write their lines.
They don't write their lines. Someone told them to say those lines that way. Yeah. And it's like... Man, and I know that I think Jake Lloyd, like the original Anakin Skywalker, I think he went to jail.
I would say, I couldn't imagine being that kid growing up.
Yeah, and he's like, he hates cameras. Like, that has got to be
hates cameras.
Like, he's like, I don't even like being on camera. Like, when someone brings out a camera, like, I don't like it. Like, that's some trauma, and it's just because like us nerds are just like, you're not as good as I want it to be. Like, it's so toxic. And
Do you think, speaking of Daisy Ridley, because I think she's a really interesting actress, and I appreciate for what she brought to the role, but do you think she's going to be able to kind of, because that's the thing too about Star Wars, of course we got Harrison Ford, I think, is the most famous out of the original
Oh yeah.
Star Wars, but obviously Mark Hamill's still doing some great stuff, voiceover work, and of
Hmm.
course RIP to Princess Leia, and all that stuff. But I feel like Star Wars is like such a big franchise that it can literally either really make your career or you don't see that act anymore. Do you think Daisy really has that kind of range to come and really kind of make her name out there in Hollywood?
Well, chaos walking doesn't help.
Oof. Ooh. Ooh.
And it's a shame because it like, I think it's it's a little bit of a different story, but the Taylor Kitsch example I think is the perfect example
Yeah,
of
Hollywood
just
tried to make that a superstar.
Hollywood wanted him to be a
Yeah.
star, and I think he's a good actor.
Yeah,
But John
is.
Carter bombs, Battleship bombs,
Yep.
and then Hollywood's like, we cannot bet on him to be a bankable star.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
What's my man's name from Avatar? Sam Wellington, Sam Worthington.
Worthington, yeah.
Yeah, that was another guy that they wanted to force, with Terminator, Salvation, and
Hmm.
he was in a couple other stuff. Of course, Avatar was the big one, but yeah, they
Hmm.
try. Yeah, it's so sad to see when people are like trying to force you to like this star and it just doesn't work out.
Yeah, because I think like it's such a hard, like that's like the Hollywood agent world. Like, oh,
Hmm.
this guy's gonna be in this guy's gonna be in this. You're gonna
Yep.
want to book him for your next thing
Hmm.
because he's gonna be
Hmm.
hot.
Yep.
Um, so like, I mean, one that worked was Chris Pratt. Within the span of a year and a half, you get
Wow.
Lego
Yep.
Movie, Guardians
Hmm.
of the Galaxy, and Jurassic
Hmm.
World. Wow,
Three franchises
three
right
home
there.
runs right there.
Yep.
And then Chris Pratt was not a household name before that.
No.
And that's what
He
I mean with
retired.
Timothy Chalamet. If he gets a
Hmm.
Dune and then gets two other things that just really take off.
Hey man, I know he probably has his picture on the wall, but Tom Holland, Timothy Chalamet was in the running for Spider-Man. It was him. I think the final three, if I'm not mistaken, when Tom Holland obviously got the role, but Dylan O'Brien, I believe Timothy Chalamet were like in the final three to be Spider-Man, but I think they picked the right actor. I don't know if I can see Timothy Chalamet, especially with
It'd be too
his acting
hipster.
sensibility. Yeah.
It'd be
He'll
too
be like
hipster.
he'll be a Zendaya essentially who she's playing, and it's all like kind of down and out, but yeah.
Yeah. And then you
Which is
get,
going to be so interesting to see him play Willy Wonka. I don't know. I don't see it.
yeah, I mean, but the thing is when someone casts somebody in a role like that, where you're like,
Yeah.
really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. But sometimes I'm like, maybe that's like the perfect
The
casting.
perfect pick. Yeah.
Like Michael Keaton as Batman, Jack
Mm-hmm.
Sparrow with Johnny Depp. Everyone's like, what is he doing with the guy liner? But it turned out to be great. Daniel Craig as James Bond. People were like so
Yeah.
upset about that. Like, he can't be blonde. He can't have blue eyes. And a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people think that he's the best. But like, again, yeah, like I can't see him being like,
Joyful.
hello,
It's
like he's
exactly.
like,
Yeah, I haven't seen that in him yet. That's the and who knows? He might have. I've seen. I think I saw a couple clips. I didn't watch the whole episode of him on Saturday Night Live. He probably has it in him. I mean, he's probably around his friends and family. He could probably be as goofy as anyone. But I just don't see like that side of him bringing out. Especially Gene Wilder in that role. I don't know. Maybe it'll be something new. Maybe it won't be the role. What we've come used to as far as Willy Wonka goes. So we'll see.
yeah, and like, but to answer your question about Daisy Ridley, I think Daisy
Yeah.
Ridley, that Chaos Walking definitely does not help.
Man.
Tom Holland, thank God he has Spider-Man. I haven't seen Chaos Walking, but I just know because of it was such a
It's not
big
good.
bomb. It was a
It is
bomb.
not good. Yeah, I did not enjoy it
Uh,
at all.
the only person I heard give it a good review was Joe from Guide at the Movies.
Really?
He was the only one who gave it like, I think he gave it a 5 out of 5. I could be wrong.
wow.
Joe, if you're watching, tell me. But John Boyega, I don't
Mhm.
think. Well, I could be wrong. I don't think Pacific Rim. Like they banked on him for that.
They were really looking for that to be the big. Yeah.
That didn't really work. But I think Oscar Isaac definitely has.
Yeah.
He's safe.
Yeah.
Because he's
I
been.
think he's going to be, he's this version of Harrison Ford. I think out of all those actors, and I love John Boyega and Daisy Ridley, but I think of all those actors, I think we're seeing it now with him being cast as Snake Eye, or not Snake Eyes, but didn't he get cast in some Splinter Cell Tom Clancy project?
Oh.
Jeez, what is his name? Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid. I can't think of the character's
Oh,
name. I think it's Snake. He got cast as that, and obviously he gets Marvel with Moon Knight. So yeah,
oh
he's
yes,
like
Moon Knight.
doing the big stuff. So yeah, I think he's going to be the Harrison Ford of that
Mhm.
group as far as being that big superstar.
He is Moon Knight, right? He's not in the show, but he is Moon
No,
Knight.
he's going to be the main character. Yeah, he
Okay,
is.
gotcha,
Mark Spectrum is the character's name.
gotcha. I don't know anything about Moon Knight, but I know that Ethan Hawke just.
Mm-hmm.
I
Which is
remember.
crazy.
I remember he was in the running to play Doctor Strange
Mm-hmm.
back in the day. So I'm like, I would love to see. I'm a big Ethan Hawke supporter.
Great. He's great, man.
The
He's one of
before.
those actors that does not. He always had nothing but bad things to say about superhero movies, and particularly Marvel. So to know that he's on attached to this must mean that this is a special project.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious about it. Like I saw some pictures of him like fighting and things. So
Training.
yeah, and like I don't know a single thing about Moon Knight. Like I haven't read the comic books or anything.
Oh, he's
so
awesome, dude. He's essentially the MCU version of Batman.
okay, gotcha, nice.
And not like Tony Stark with like money, but like this the mindset, the dark kind of past, and kind of his hand-to-hand combat. And he has a he suffers from a disorder where he has a split personality. So it's like
Okay, gotcha.
real is it fake? He's a really cool character.
Yeah, I didn't even know about the Metal Gear Solid one. I mean, that
Mm-hmm.
to me screams movie. Video game movies. I don't know. Like talking about Tom Holland as Uncharted. That one I did not see coming
Yeah,
at all. But
younger Drake. Yeah, we'll see, man.
I mean, he's a good actor,
see.
so we'll see about that. And yeah, so I think in terms of Star Wars, there's always like most actors. Yeah, like I think also of like Daniel Radcliffe. Like he will never escape Harry Potter. He will never escape that role.
Even when he's 80 years old,
No.
you still see Harry in him.
Yeah. Let's see here. Oh god, I lost my place. Sorry guys. Have either of you seen The Graduate? I haven't. I mean, I've seen the scene. Mrs. Robinson, you're trying to seduce me. But
I haven't seen it either, but I know it's a classic.
and then Jay says you need to check out My Fair Lady. I will. I was gonna get a review copy of that on the 4K. It's still in the mail because Paramount had some problems with their shipping, and with shipping over the border during the pandemic, it's slow as well. So I will watch that movie very soon. Have you seen My Fair Lady?
I haven't.
I haven't seen that one either. Why do actors get the hate? I was still talking about Star Wars. Was Debbie from Dallas from the 60s? I don't know what that movie is. Sorry.
Me neither. Sorry, Deluxe.
Tom Holland was great even before Spider-Man in The Impossible. Yeah, that he was.
It's a good movie, and he was also what's his name? I know he played Billy Elliot. I think it was called Billy Elliot. He was pretty good in that.
Oh yes, exactly. He wasn't the main kid though. He was.
No, he wasn't.
What's that guy's name? Bell. Jake
Jamie
Bell.
Bell.
Jamie Bell. Yeah. That, I'm not a puff, Dad. Like that's such a good movie.
It is.
Oh, I wanted to ask you about this. I totally forgot about it, but Deluxe brings it up. Indiana Jones is being filmed in England right now. Nazis are the bad guys again. Did you see those photos?
Of course. Yeah, I have. It's called Indiana Jones and what is it? The Evil Empire, I think is the subtitle.
I didn't even know there was a title.
Yeah, it's a sub. Yeah, the Indiana Jones and the Evil Empire.
And the Evil Empire.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
Well, sticking with the George Lucas, Empire, using that term. Well, I heard there was like some George Lucas was talking about some of the titles that they didn't use. He said Indiana Jones and the Attack of the Killer Ants. I'm like, oh, thank Christ you didn't use that title. Indiana Jones and the Haunted House. I'm like, oh boy, don't do that. Like, I would be okay with them doing like a mansion, like a haunted mansion or something like that, but don't call it the Haunted House. Like,
as you were saying, I guess the director James Mangold shot down. That's not the rumor. That's a rumor title, so it's not confirmed. Empire of Evil was the subtitle that was out for a little bit.
Gotcha. Oh, thank you, Adam. What do you think about Nazis being back in the movie?
Synonymous to Indiana Jones, so it doesn't surprise me. I'm so intrigued by this film. I'm not excited. I'm intrigued. I mean, as they've said millions of times, Mr. Harrison Ford will be 80 years old when the film comes out, which is insane. But my faith lies in the story. My faith lies in James Mangold as a director. He has yet to make a bad film. And, Matt Mickelson, man, he's a great actor too. So,
Yeah,
and
that's right.
I'm looking forward to it. Phoebe Weiler, or not Phoebe Weiler, I can't think of her last name, but the young lady that does Killing Eve, and she's a great writer. I think she's the writer of the next Bond movie. So, I'm hoping
Oh,
that we get something
right.
special.
Yeah, like I don't know how they're gonna have Nazis in there. Like I don't know if they've just been hiding out somewhere. If please don't do time travel.
Oh
Um,
boy, oh boy,
maybe it's a
please.
flashback with the Nazi stuff. You know, who knows? Maybe they de-age him for that. But the fact that it's James Mangold and he did
Yeah.
Logan, kind of like an
Mhm.
older character, run
Mhm.
down. You know, the desert aesthetic, right?
Yeah.
Kind of run
Yeah.
down kind of thing. Like I think that he's a great choice for that.
I
If you
agree.
guys have not seen 310 a Yuma, it's an amazing movie.
But I'll be right back, Brandon. Give me 1 second. Be right back.
Yeah, go for it. But if you guys have not seen um, 310 a Yuma, definitely do that. And I think, um, yeah, Indiana Jones 5 with him being so old, I'm like, oh god, like this is gonna be so strange. I've said it before, and I'll ask Elliot about his opinion on this. But I always thought, actually, you know what? Here you are. I was gonna ask you. This is a very unpopular opinion of mine, but I will beat it
Mm-hmm.
until I die. I always thought that Indiana Jones could have gone the James Bond route, where if you had a bunch of different actors playing him. And I know a lot of people said, like, oh, well, you can't recast Harrison Ford as Indiana
Mm-hmm.
Jones. And I go, I know, I love him. But a lot of people also love Sean Connery as James Bond, and you can still create the character because I don't think that the character of Indiana Jones is the interesting thing. I think Indiana Jones is adventure. That
Right.
is the character. The hat,
Right.
the whip, the coat. Like, oh, what would you took if you took those away? You can't take away his hat, his it's like his costume, right?
Yep.
So, you know, I always thought that you could have kept going with different actors. Indiana Jones could have been the James Bond. They're pretty similar characters, right? They're always going off on adventures. They're
Mm-hmm.
skilled. They're
Mm-hmm.
smart. You know,
Mm-hmm.
secret agent slash for James Bond, and then archaeologist for Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Then we can have the debate of who would play them. I thought it'd be so funny if Alden Ehrenreich played Indiana Jones as well as Han Solo. So you have the same actor again doing that. But I mean, what do you
That
think
would be
about that?
funny.
That's my own personal.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. Because obviously we know that the James Bonds have a little bit more, time in regards to how many, James, what was it? Sean Connery played 5, 6 times or 7 times James Bond.
Oh God, hold on. No. 6 official, and then he did Never Say Never Again when he was a lot older.
Gotcha. Yeah. So and over, those those 6 different actors over a span of 50 plus years. So obviously we would have to, like, logistically speaking, there has to be another actor in the role just because they
Mm-hmm.
we can see Sean Connery still playing the role today. So but yeah, no, that would have been interesting, man. I think that they did kind of miss out on having going the whole TV route with, or not the TV route, but like they did the young Indiana Jones and
Mm-hmm.
kind of showing him at a younger age and showing different, maybe even not even having a different actor, but like just different periods of his life, and having a younger actor here, a younger actor here, and then leading up to a films we get the Indiana Jones. So I think they did kind of miss out on that, of like certain points of his life and having an actor come in, maybe playing him in his 30s, him in his 40s, and then having Harrison Ford be the prime Indiana Jones in the films. But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh God, I lost my place again. Indiana Jones being filmed in England. Yeah, well, at least we have the Mandalorian and Dave Filoni, executive creative chief for Lucasfilm. So there is
Oh, as
hope
far as
is
like in Star, yeah.
in Star Wars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there'll always be hope, right? Pun intended. There'll always be hope in the Star Wars universe. But I think it's a weird time we're living in. It's such a like nostalgia based franchise where if
Mm-hmm.
you make one mistake, it is like bring out the torch and the pitchforks. But I think
Mm-hmm.
I think we talked about a couple. What was it last year? We had to on Talking TV. I think a lot of
Mm,
us. I know I said I think that the future of Star Wars is on television, man.
yeah. You
We
know,
do.
because the universe is so big. The
Mm-hmm.
Skywalkers are just a family. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you can't have those as the main story, but
Yeah.
don't try to keep going with it. Like I think, like I'm intrigued for that Rogue Squadron movie with
Patty Jenkins. Yeah.
You
Me
know,
too, man.
I'm always I'm a sucker for when Star Wars goes like, lock us furls in attack positions, like any of that war. I think my favorite scene, probably in movie history, is the attack on the Death Star. That is my favorite. I'm gonna try to cross the axis and try to draw their fire. Dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's so awesome.
Epic.
That's where I nerd out. Indiana Jones and the Haunted House sounds like a Scooby-Doo episode. That's a good way of putting it. You know, very very elementary school. Like,
Yeah.
I am Dracula coming for you, Dr. Jones. Yeah, and then where is it? Yeah, I have no faith in the new Indiana Jones. Wait, hold on. I have no faith in the new Indiana Jones if it has the actress who played the robot in Solo. I know it is going to suck, but you haven't seen it yet, so you don't.
Solo.
I didn't know if she's in it, but maybe she is.
Oh, is she? Or are they confused? Was it Phoebe that played that actor? Because I think her name is Phoebe something. Oh, gosh, I can't remember her name.
Yeah.
I don't think she was the voice of the robot in Solo, but she might have been.
But I'm going to go off on a little bit of a tangent here. For those of you guys who say, like, I know the movie's going to suck, but you don't, though, because you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's some people who go into movies wanting to hate it. So it's like you will find any way to do that. And I think that, you know, you're doing a disservice to yourself, because what if you genuinely like the movie? Then who benefits from that? You do, because you see a great movie. You know what I mean? So I never want a movie to suck. Yeah. But that's just me.
Yeah, I know the big thing is like it's too late, too little, too late type of situation. It's been mishandled in regards to Steven was on the project. We had another director in the project. Now we have James Mangold. There's been rewrites. There's been all this stuff, but you know, you always hope for the best.
Yeah, because it sometimes does work. Like, you know, Jaws and Titanic. Those movies had tons of problems.
Oh my gosh,
behind the set. So, but it worked. Star Wars, the first Star Wars, nothing worked, right? The rough cut of the movie was terrible. They had to come back and reshoot some scenes and re-edit it, but you know, it worked. So sometimes it works. And then Max says the internet would be outraged if Indy was recast, but I think it would be interesting. I think you can do it. You know, I think just wait and see.
I agree, man. And we're at the point now too. Is the character's been so in the pop culture, but at the same time, we have this generation of kids that don't even know who Harrison Ford is. So, you know, there's that argument. You know. Yeah.
My mom was telling me about this because she's an English teacher. Thank you for the new subscription, guys. But she said, "Do you think that movies will die out in the next generation? Because my kids, her students." You know, like they're all on TikTok. They don't watch any movies. They don't know who Elvis is, right? Like they just are on their phones, TikTok. And then my dad and I said no, because it's like, well, I think there's always going to be that certain group of people that will want to see big movies on the big screen. And like Disney in 2019 had like $5 or $6 billion movies. Yeah. So again, I see her point. But I don't think movies are going away.
No, I don't think so as well. I mean, obviously they're gonna, you know, change in regards to the different, you know, remakes and all the different stuff. But yeah, I don't think we'll ever get like just movies just completely dying out. Even though I know, like, again, every generation the attention spans get shorter and shorter. But yeah, I don't think we'll ever lose movies. Yeah,
absolutely. We got about 13 minutes left, and then we'll have to say goodbye. So get your questions in, guys. Right. Yeah, Tony says, did you guys ever read the Link script to Colin Trevorrow's episode 9? It was way better than what we actually got. Talk about bonehead move by Kathleen Kennedy on part for firing him. Well, you know what? I'll say this. Like, I know a lot of people read that. I haven't read it. And they said, it would make such a better movie. But you don't know that, right?
You're
like,
right.
every single time that Hollywood puts hundreds of millions of dollars, it's a huge investment into a script, they think it's going to be good. They don't think like, oh, let's just pick this bad script and hope it's good. Like, they genuinely think it's going to be good. But you know, from getting it from script to final film, you got to cast the thing, you got to find out all your locations, you got to get your budget, you got to, like, there's so many factors. And the script is not the final movie. Like the movie is really made on the editing floor, and actors will find certain things on the day. They're like, "Oh, thank you so much, Jay, for the super chat. I
Jay
really
Manley,
appreciate
what's
it."
up, Jay? Yeah,
There's so many different factors. So
yeah, 100%.
like you can hope, but you never actually will know
Yeah.
unless you actually make the movie. But what are your thoughts on that?
No, 100%, man. I mean, hell, we don't even know the final. What was the first? Maybe the Rise of Skywalker original script was fantastic, but obviously, things changed for the film. So yeah, that script, of course, and again, it plays into the narrative that Kathleen Kennedy was wrong, Star Wars was wrong. They should have went with Colin Farrell or Trevorrow, but who knows? This alternate reality. Maybe it was a better film, but we'll never know. We will unfortunately never know. But
Absolutely. Yeah, you just hindsight's always 2020 also, because we saw this one movie, but if you look at the two scripts just in script form, they went with one over the other for a reason, right? Like they didn't choose one like, oh, this one's gonna suck, let's try to get let's just try to get people angry. And then Toto said, or David Ryder says, have you read any Bond novels? I'd love to see Casino Royale that was faithful to the 1953 book. I haven't. But I did hear that Quentin Tarantino wanted to do Casino Royale with Pierce Brosnan and have it like a real faithful one. That would be awesome. Have you read any of the James Bond novels?
I haven't. No, I haven't.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how I'd find time to go back to any of those. Toto says, Brando, it's like I told you that the new MK movie, I guess he means Mortal Kombat, is going to suck, and it was even worse than I thought. But my point is that you thought. People have liked it. It's all opinion, right? So, my point is that you can't really say until you see a movie. Like, you can't say that I love it before. Like, I remember when Rise of Skywalker came out and the Rotten Tomatoes score came out a couple days before.
Yeah.
And I remember one guy posting, he's like, critics are crap. I'm going to see this movie and I'm going to love it. I'm like, but you don't know that, though.
Right.
But again, that's why people are so in love with film that they're like, I'm going to love this movie. It's have you ever seen a movie where you're like, I don't know how to feel about that, but you kind of forced yourself to say like, oh, I love it anyways? Maybe before you did YouTube.
Yeah, for sure. Being a big fan of a lot of the comic book stuff, I gotta love BVS because I love Batman. He's my favorite superhero. I love Henry Cavill in the role. I love Ben Affleck, playing Batman. This is gonna be great. And the theatrical cut just didn't live up to stuff. Now I do love the actual extended version or the director's cut, Snyder's cut of a sort. But yeah, it's just like sometimes I'm a big fan of these comic book characters, and I just want them to do so well. Like Suicide Squad, when I saw that for the first time, I'm like, oh yeah, this was interesting. Harley Quinn, first time on the big screen, and some of these characters. But yeah, it's like when you actually look at it as a film, it's like, no, it's not good at all. So and a lot of people do that, right? They drink the Kool-Aid. The whole thing with people love the prequel trilogy, and then they hated it for a certain amount of time. Then they loved it once the new sequels were bad. So it's just like, yeah, everyone's always drinking some Kool-Aid and wanting things to be great and putting their actual criticism to the side just because they're a fan of the IP.
Yeah, I think like, oh, I've already made my bed. I have to
Yep.
Like I reviewed Zack Snyder's Justice League. Great movie, by the way. Like let's just praise that. I was wearing a Superman shirt, and I said that I wasn't the biggest fan of Man of Steel. I know that you love it, but
love it, man.
I understand why. I definitely do. My girlfriend's a Henry Cavill, like she loves him.
Great.
And I'm like, I wasn't the biggest fan of Man of Steel. I wasn't the biggest fan of Batman versus Superman. I understand why people like them. There's things that I like in it. And one comment goes, well, then why do you have a Superman shirt if you hate those movies? Like, what the hell? I'm like, well, you're allowed to like the character. Like, it was just so black and white. I thought that was pretty funny. Here's a good question from Tony. Get your questions in, guys. About 7 minutes left. Do you guys want to see the Snyderverse continue?
I go back and forth with this just for the simple fact that from just a human perspective, the way Warner Brothers treated Zack Snyder, I just don't think that mentally, health wise, I don't think Zack Snyder should sleep in that bed again with those. A lot of those
Mm-hmm.
execs are gone, but just there's still some type of animosity, some type of something still going on. I don't feel like Warner Brothers really understands who Zack Snyder is as a director quite yet, even though they've done most of his films are produced by Warner Brothers, which is so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So from that standpoint, I don't think that he should go back to that. But whenever I hear him, which by the way, man, Zack Snyder, regardless of how you feel about him, I appreciate him just talking to. There's so many times I just see him on like random YouTube channels talking to his
Mm-hmm.
fandom and letting out some of the stuff he probably shouldn't, certain artwork. So I appreciate how he's connected to his fan base. But from like I said, a human standpoint, I think he should just go away from the characters. But then from the fan of me of Zack Snyder, you can just
Mm-hmm.
tell he loves these characters. And regardless of, they might not be the faithful
Mm-hmm.
adaptation of Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman from the comics, but I think he tells his version of these characters in more of a dark grittiness of it. So I don't know, man. I love the nightmare world that he's created, especially at the ending that we got out of Justice League. I would
Mm-hmm.
love to see where it goes, but at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, I'm a DC fan. I just want to see these characters continue
Yeah.
and to to move forward in the future versus kind of living in the past. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
tough one, man. But he has so much passion for these characters. I just feel kind of it's a catch 22,
Yeah,
man.
that's a good point in the human aspect, because a lot of people, we sometimes we forget that these are human
Yeah,
beings.
yeah.
Um, you know, like
Like,
making
would you
movies
want
are
to
tough.
see, not to get dark, would you want to see a woman that gets abused go back to the man, or the vice versa? A woman,
Yeah,
man being, would you want to see them going back in that relationship? That's how I feel about Zack. I feel like WB,
yeah,
not metaphorically speaking, beat him up. Like I feel
yeah.
like they abused him and just really did him wrong. So I wouldn't want to see someone get back in that relationship, even if they've changed. There's new execs. I still feel like there's something there about Warner Brothers in that relationship.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, never say never, because the Snyder
Yeah,
cut eventually came,
never
but
was gonna come, right? Yeah.
and I think of it just in terms of like, I think of just the masses, just the normies, right? You're gonna have Robert Pattinson's Batman, and then if the
Mhm,
Snyder cut or the Snyderverse continues, you're gonna have Ben Affleck's Batman. It's gonna
mhm,
get confusing for a lot of just non-comic book fans, just people who want to
mhm.
see movies. Just average moviegoers, and I think that would alienate some of the audience. They'd be like, "Oh, what's going on here?" Like, so I think of it from that standpoint.
Yeah.
And I think that the Zack Snyder's Justice League and him coming back and making this movie and most of the people liking it, like I don't know anyone who doesn't like Zack Snyder's Justice League, the Snyder
Mhm.
cut. I think that was a perfect like recapture it. Let's end on a high note. Like
Yeah.
we're at the
I don't
trilogy of
think we'll
Zack
never
Snyder.
see that again. I don't think we'll never see that ever again in movie history. The way that film was able to be created, it's crazy.
Absolutely. Real quick, superhero fan, best Pixar movie after Toy Story 3, mine is Coco. I would have to agree with you there.
Coco's great.
Yeah. Or Toy Story 4. It's up between the two.
Hmm.
Star Trek or Star Wars?
Oh, Star Wars.
Yeah, me too.
I've never been a track fan.
Yeah.
Never tracky or whatever they call
Yeah,
them.
one of my old bosses, he's just like, I love Star Wars because that's like fun space. Star Trek is
Yeah.
too realistic. Like, it'd be just so boring. Like, Captain's log, space travel. It's like, no, you want to be shooting X-Wings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, I could see that.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Yeah, see, exactly. Man of Steel sucks, and Superman is my favorite superhero of all time. See, you can think that, right? You don't have to
Hmm.
be super. Like I like Spider-Man. Spider-Man's my favorite superhero,
Hmm.
and the Amazing Spider-Man 2. Oh, I did a 180 on that movie. I loved the first time I saw it. And
People are coming around to that, man. I hear a lot of people now like really praising that film.
it does some good things,
Hmm.
and then I watched it the second time. I'm like, oh yikes! But you know what? Like I totally understand
Yeah.
why people like it. It's tough. It's a tough one to get for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Deluxe says Robert Pattinson is not believable. Do you think Robert Pattinson is believable as Batman from what you've seen so far?
I mean, it's hard to tell, man. I mean, we only got a 2 minute trailer of him. Robert Pattinson's a fantastic actor. I think a lot of people are still stuck in the Twilight Zone or Twilight, whatever, Twilight, the mindset of him. But yeah, I think he's gonna be. I think he's gonna be great. I really do. I think he's gonna be a great Bruce Wayne and a great Batman. And I think he might be. Again, I have this feeling, man. He might be a lot of people's favorite Batman after we see him next year.
Yeah, I had that feeling too. I think after that trailer, like I just the hype, at least from people that I've talked to and things like that,
Yeah.
I think that people will really enjoy it. I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued.
Yeah, man. I am vengeance.
Yeah, I thought that that one scene where he beat that guy up, I'm like, I'm sold. I think he
Mhm.
would do a good job. Uh, like Valentine says, I don't like Zack Snyder's Justice League. Now you know someone who doesn't like it. Well, you just
There you go.
disproved me. So sorry, man. I mean, hey, the
There
one
it
person
is.
who's lost is you because you didn't like that movie. So take that one. No, I'm just kidding. You can't like them all. But
Yeah.
last question before we end the stream. But I'll let you guys know as well, because I've said this a couple times. Contests, moviescenecanada.com in the description box. It is for Canadian residents, it is an Indiana Jones Blu-ray. And for US and Canadian residents, it's a 4K copy of Godzilla vs. Kong. So enter that. Hopefully you guys will win. But the last question is from Aaron Johnson. Did you guys enjoy the Batman movies from the Burton and Schumacher eras? If so, what would you say Michael Keaton? Would you say Michael Keaton was a better Batman than George Clooney's in Batman and Robin?
Yes.
I would.
Yeah, I think Michael Keaton is better than George Clooney.
I would say so
That's
too.
the question.
But what did you guys think? What did you think about the overall era?
They're a product of their time. That's for sure. I definitely more prefer the Tim Burton films more so than Schumacher. But understanding, we were talking about Star Wars and how the actors didn't, pick their lines and all that. The studio really did push Schumacher to make it kid friendly, toys. So he did exactly what he was hired for. So in that sense, he did, the job. But it's not the Batman that I much more prefer my Batman dark and grizzled and a man of vengeance.
Yeah, so do I. Like I can appreciate those Batman movies because it's like watching old commercials. It's just kind of like this warm feeling. It's so 90s, right? Like just me being like a mid 90s born.
Yeah.
So going back to those, it's like the generation that I was born in and I grew up in. I love the art direction, for the first two. But, like I see the Batman Forever and I see Batman and Robin, and I think those are like very safe, marketable Happy Meal toys type of Batman movies.
Yep.
And David Ryder asks PO box to send you stuff. Send me a DM. I haven't set up a PO box yet, but send me a DM and we can work on it. But thank you if you want to send me something. Hopefully it's not anything like a box of your dog's droppings or something like that. That hasn't happened yet, but
Gwyneth Paltrow's her head in the box. It's in the box. In the box.
Oh my god. Is anyone looking? Oh, crap, I gotta put that away, dispose of that. But anyways, Elliot, I want to say thanks, buddy. It's been too long. Hopefully we get to do this again. And I want to say, and dude, your channel's been taken off. You're grinding. You're working hard. I just want to say congrats, buddy. You deserve it.
Hey man, same with you, Brandon. The community you're building over here, man. It's this rebranding of the show has been fantastic.
Thanks,
The growth is incredible as well, man. Again, you got some really hardcore fans, man, and it's awesome to see that community being built. So you're doing a fantastic job as well, man.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. So, guys in the chat, definitely follow Movie Files. You guys have already done that, right? You guys know who this is. But anyways, I want to say thank you guys so much for being here, Elliot. It was a blast. I always think that our conversations are always a lot of fun. So I hope we get to do another one soon. And I will see you guys in the next one. Take care, everybody.